Check, check.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for. Mystical man, musician, Nate Jackson. Nate,
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Jacob. How you doing on this humid even?
I'm pretty good, man. It's good to see you after
Yeah. No, I've been
months.
quarantined to all hell. Just stuck.
You've been in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, not actually, but
I got a little more
metaphorically.
freedom, I guess.
What?
I got a little more freedom, I guess.
Than prisoners?
Oh, absolutely, dude. I mean, I'm just fooling in my room watching Joe Rogan podcast the whole time. They don't have that privilege.
Yeah,
Takes
man.
them a Slim Jim and a fucking packet of ramen to get a phone to even watch the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, and I barely even prepared for this podcast because
Yeah, we were just
really
like, you want to do it
notice.
today?
He was just like, yo, I can actually leave my room for once. And I was like, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, I was blessed with the opportunity to hang out with a single person.
We don't got masks on either.
Well, yeah, masks are really only useful in a public scenario. I mean,
You got to go to work, though.
oh yeah, I'm considered an essential worker because I'm a radio operator, board operator.
Yeah, tell us about that.
I just do. I work alone. I spend a lot of time playing commercials, different things like that.
What's your favorite commercial? Wait, do you say the commercials? Do you?
Nope.
Do you
Well, it varies. There is some commercials that I say, and those are like the local commercials. So like, like the Potato Shack around here.
Yeah.
I'll have to be like, 520 North Second Potato Shack. Come home for family breakfast. So I'll have to do that, but most of the time I just literally pop in a cassette.
Do you have like a name, like Nate Izzle or something? This is.
I switch it up. I switch it up. Sometimes I'll have to do the hourly, like basically every hour we have to say our station name and our identification number. So I'll switch it up.
An identification number.
It's like the number that is specific to the antenna. Like.
Oh.
So there's a certain ID that of the frequency that we're putting out, which is W287BY.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'll mix it up. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, this is Nato with WLUV, so on and so forth. But then sometimes, like recently I had our friend Joey, I told him to listen in for the hourly, and I was just like, yay! This is Cowboy Nato with WLUV, country radio coming right after this quick message. It's like State Farm commercial right after, or something like that.
You got like one of those one of those boards that play like noises?
No, dude.
Oh,
the station I work at is I'm not even gonna lie. It's a hellhole. It's broken.
Oh.
It was made in 1951. The owner got out of World War II and was granted a military grant. So he was just like, times were different. 1950s radio was the big form of media.
Yeah.
So he's just like, that's what I want to do, and that's what he did. He lived in a house by himself and hired people to run this radio station.
Hey man. At least you're a radio host. That's
Joe
cool.
Salvi, rest in peace, buddy. He just died a year ago at 98 years old.
Damn.
He's crazy. And everyone's saying,
man, that's a long, good life though.
Yeah, and everyone's saying these radio signals are bad for you. They're bad for you. The microwaves or whatever that the antenna puts off. Well, I mean, we're not 5G just because we can get on to that next thing. But, just the microwaves that we put off or the radio waves are supposedly bad for a human. But this man lived 5 feet away from a huge, 100-foot plus tower and lived till 98 years old. You can't tell me. It's probably good for you, dude. You're probably building something up that's making you, super powered.
You know what's crazy about the radio?
What's crazy?
You gotta think.
I could talk about radio all day.
Like you said that back in the day, radio was a big thing for people to get the news. I remember the story that John F. Kennedy, when he ran against, I think it was Nixon.
Right.
People who listened to on the radio thought that Nixon was better, but people who watched on the television thought that Kennedy was better, and they concluded that it's probably because people judge by looks.
Eye candy. Yep, I was just about to say the power of just looks. I don't know what the exact power of beauty, power of just entrancement. A person could just be interested in the way that you look. You could just be some eye candy to them, have some big tits, big ass. You're like, and automatically, you're just, in your mind, you're like, I'm going to treat this person nicer, which I think too many people have nowadays.
I think that, and I don't want to be that guy, but you know, a big part of that does do with like the modern culture.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Not
I
even
don't know what
modern
else you
culture
would.
forever.
What else would you blame it on? That's the thing. What else? You can't just. It's absolutely the culture. I mean, look at your parents, man. Like something I've always think about is that if you just look at your parents and then look at you, even though you have a lot of similarities because you know you're the apple that fell from the tree, at the same time they grew up in a completely different time frame than you did and just have completely different outlooks, and it's whack.
For us, it's hard to grasp people that aren't around during the internet.
Oh, dude, it's a different breed for the people that had internet at a very early age. Because I mean, all of us were just exposed to things that necessarily we weren't expecting to be exposed to.
I think it kind of spoils us to a certain degree because we just have endless knowledge and social interaction at our fingertips at all times. When back in the day, if you wanted to learn something, you got to go down to the library, you got to check out a book.
Right, but here's the thing.
Social extra, you got to go talk to someone.
Here's the thing. Is this new innovation of technology a good or a bad thing?
It's not inherently a bad thing, but it's not inherently a good thing either.
I would agree because something I think about is that like with the internet we're a lot more communicative and open, and like we like are more open with the world now. We are connected more, but at the same time you're intermediate people because of your phone. You're not meeting the people around you. You're not meeting the people that are on your block. You're not meeting the people that go to your local restaurants. You're not meeting these people that actually could be affecting your lives.
People don't know their neighbors anymore.
No. I mean, thankfully I do. Just, you know, I like to keep some things real.
And they sue me. And they call the cops.
Yeah, I am very grateful I have good neighbors compared to you, bro. Karen. At Karen.
Can I put this in here?
Absolutely. How many people, dude? It's an ongoing joke that an angry light lady is like, "Okay, Karen," and her name is actually Karen. If that,
yeah, man. But
I guess stereotypes happen for a reason.
I think that stereotypes are mostly stereotypes because they're true, most of the time.
Well, there's a reason they're stereotypes.
The Irish like beer.
Yeah.
And
Americans it's what they lived
are
off
dumb.
Of. It's what kept them alive because the water had like dysentery or whatever.
Really?
So, yeah. I could be wrong, but I was reading. I remember reading about something where basically the water that it had certain dysentery or whatever, and it had some waterborne disease where they couldn't drink the local water out of the water wells. So the only thing they could drink was beer because if you were to distill the beer with the whole heat process, you're killing out that dysentery or whatever, and that's what kept them alive. Like babies, like infants drink beer. Like
they would probably just try to get the alcohol to like the lowest point.
Yeah, that's one thing to say. That beer back then is nowhere near the alcohol percentage that it is now, which it varies. Sometimes it can be more because people leave it out longer. But generally, the beer that they made, it was so quick, and they did it just to make their water better that it wasn't necessarily a very strong alcoholic beer.
Yeah, it's really interesting to learn stuff like that.
So interesting.
I can't remember the name, but there's a YouTube channel that does like what food in medieval times was actually like and what
Crossins in towns or something like that. Jamieson's in towns.
I don't know what
he dresses up right.
It might be that, yeah.
Maybe look him up on YouTube. But I know what you're talking about. He dresses up in like that revolutionary attire, and he looks up old 18th century, 19th century cookbook stuff.
Yeah, and then he actually cooks it just like that.
Dude, that stuff is crazy. You want to know something? Like, you know how we make bread? Is like, yeast, and that yeast is a bacteria that makes the bread rise and everything.
Okay.
Well, back then we did not have the access to like manufactured yeast all the time. So what we did is that literally you would make the dough, flour, egg, water, whatever, and you just leave it out for a couple days, because there's natural yeast is everywhere. I mean, humans produce yeast.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, think about this. It basically what made the bread rise.
Lindsay Lohan.
What made the bread rise was the natural yeast in the air. So the yeast that's coming off them, the animals, and whatever else may be containing yeast in the air, and they're just like, I don't know how they figured it out. They just kind of did. I mean, they realized that, it makes the bread rise, and we can actually make bread out of this instead of some, like, tortilla BS. So, yeah, they figured that out, and that's what they did for the longest time. But just imagining it is gross.
You ever thought about being a historian, Nate?
Kind of recently. I mean, like I have lots of interests.
What if you just worked at a museum, and you were just, like, a historian?
That'd be cool to
You
have.
could grow out a long ass beard.
I want a lot
and
of
you walk around with a
occupations.
giant book, and like you have reading glasses, and
Yeah,
people
right.
go to you.
I don't even need them. Like,
Actually, it was the Battle of the Bulge.
No. It says right here in this book. Yeah. I'm definitely interested in, like, something that's makes me super interested is, like, paleontology. It involves history, but, like, paleontology.
What's
but
that?
more specifically, like the study of, like, animals that are no longer around.
Oh.
Paleontology is
So
the study of
extinct
dinosaurs, is what paleontology is.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that is the coolest stuff, dude.
I'm really into archaeology.
Let me tell you a fact that'll, like, just... I remember hearing it, but it was just, like, whack. But literally 99% of all the animals that have ever existed on this earth that we live on, we don't know exist, because fossilization is so... Do you know how fossilization happens?
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
It's basically the minerals replacing the bones, the natural limestones and stuff. The bone disintegrates.
Yeah.
But basically, since it was toppled over or whatever different processes that cause fossilization, it keeps the bone there. So the mineral like fills in the shape of the bone, and you have this bone that's made of minerals, but it's the exact same shape because it was collapsed on or whatever it may be.
That's pretty cool.
So cool. 99% of everything that's ever lived, we just like... And it brings up back something that you've talked about before, is that, like, how much of the ocean have we explored?
That's true.
Think about how many animals we don't know about.
They're actually they're trying to recreate these animals in science labs. They're trying to make the woolly mammoth come back right now. And
I
it's
don't
like,
think it's a good thing.
it's like, stop. Have you ever seen Jurassic Park? They literally have multiple movies about this. What is your problem?
I'm for bringing back animals that we have made extinct, that we have selectively caused them to no longer be in the ecosystem. But at the same time, it's very iffy, because if you think about it, like bison, for example, the American buffalo, it was rampant across the north, like the U.S. So, and we just got them to the point of extinction. But if we were to bring the buffalo back, like, you know how much havoc that would just bring on, like, all the fauna and just different things that we have. Like, it just wouldn't work well in this day and age. Unless you want to do, like, small set out spaces, forest preserves
Or, and hear me out, we terraform Mars and we just put a bunch of fucking animals on it.
Elon Musk.
What if we did like Noah's Ark and we just took a bunch of fucking not like a metaphorical Noah's Ark, and we take a bunch of these like animals that we can like create in these labs or whatever with whatever they're doing, and we go to Mars and we try to populate it with animals. That way, like, an ecosystem can start to build.
That sounds cool, but, like, we're going to be a new species of human once that happens.
Oh, no, people on Mars would be completely different. We'd be a totally different species. Actually, they've been talking about...
so I feel like it's just going to lead to possible
a war. Do you know... Yeah. Or military rule on those planets.
I mean, that's a long time ahead. It hasn't even happened yet. But just the thought of it, two different species of people, that sounds like a fucking problem. We have problems with race nowadays. Imagine if there was different species of humans. Like, if we had to fight with Neanderthals or whatever, the different types of humans are.
Well, they think apes are entering the Stone Age right now.
Oh, yeah, so I've read about that. That's so cool. And sooner than people think, but not soon.
Not soon, but sooner than people
The monkeys
think.
are figuring out, like, if I take sharp rock and bang it on coconut open.
I think some monkeys are smarter than we give them credit for.
Well,
we are basically monkeys.
They're a part of the same genus or whatever.
But what we were talking about.
I could be wrong.
What
I could be wrong vocab.
What were we talking about? Do you know who John Michael Gaudier is?
I'm afraid I don't.
Shout out to John Michael Gaudier. He's a science fiction writer, but he's also pretty brilliant. He has a YouTube channel, and he talks about how he thinks that not only him, there's been pages written on it. Scientists, they want to take one of the moon craters on the moon, because a crater on the moon varies in size.
Yeah.
I've read that there's one that's like as big as New York City or something.
You can see some of them just
that
from
you
looking up.
You could fit New York inside one of the moon craters or something like that. And
so you're saying we should live on the moon?
So what? No, but what they were saying is that they're thinking about putting a city on the moon, in a dome that goes over. So we put the city inside the crater and put a dome.
Simpsons movie.
And put a dome. Yeah, we put a dome over it, and they're thinking about all the technology that would be able to go into it. And realistically, that is a lot more realistic than
Mars.
It's
okay,
as realistic. It's all.
Is that what you were gonna say?
Mars right now is like where everyone wants to go. We've already been to the moon.
Yeah, I don't think it's as inhabitable as we think.
But they want to use the moon not so much as a place where a lot of people will live, but more so as a tourist attraction or as a gas station in space.
Like
think about it as a space gas station, where you launch off from Earth, you sit on the moon for a minute, gas up, go to Mars. Or we're looking at it a completely different way, and the real way to travel across space, because we don't even know how to travel the speed of light, and you gotta travel at the speed of light. It takes thousands of years at the speed of light to reach other places.
It's not comprehensible.
Yeah, so
fast.
What if, and I sound crazy, but what if like the way to get to these places isn't like with your body? What if it's to take a huge fuck ton of DMT or something and
How
just
did I know that you'd bring up psychedelics?
fly to Mars? Because I talk about it all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's something that should be talked about more. I think it's not as much taboo as it once was, even though I've never had no experience,
It was legal at one point.
Huh?
It was legal in the 60s.
Oh, yeah, lots of things were. I mean, heroin was.
Really? I didn't know that.
Well, if it wasn't legal, it was definitely more commonplace.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but there was lots of I think methamphetamine and like coke wasn't.
Well, methamphetamine was originally something. Meth was originally something doctors would prescribe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what they still fucking prescribe. Adderall. I mean, literally, that's a whole topic that we can get into. I have a very strong opinion on doctors trying to go straight ahead to like diagnose. Because what gets them paid is giving out those prescriptions and taking care of those people. More things to take care of is more money for them. So it makes perfect sense that they would elaborate more problems and make up more problems than there necessarily would be. Yeah. Or not even just that, just go straight to conclusions.
I think some kids do have like ADHD and stuff.
Absolutely.
But there are a lot of kids misdiagnosed with ADHD simply for the fact that of a shitty doctor or a doctor that... What the fuck was that? Anyway, like a doctor that, let's say, wants to see things that aren't there.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Don't get me wrong, trust your doctor. Like,
oh yeah,
trust your doctor, please. But at the same time, when you're bringing your kid and you're like, oh, Jimmy has a problem focusing in school, and they're just like, hey, Jimmy, look here, Jimmy, look there. Okay, here's your Adderall, here's your Ritalin, or whatever it may be. And it's sad. It's sad. It makes these kids it's not good. It's screwing them up mentally. I mean, I can just think back in elementary school how many kids I knew that were taking Ritalin or Adderall because it's what they were prescribed, and they didn't even seem to like struggle that much in school. They would just talk a lot. They would just talk. They would just not care, which is the normal thing to do as a child, to talk to your friends.
I always thought it was weird that for people that are hyperactive, we give them Adderall, which makes you hyperactive. That's weird.
Well, the way it works is that it's kind of one of those things that it like reverse effects, like if you have ADHD or whatever, taking something like Adderall or Ritalin does the opposite to you. It calms you. Yeah, that's the whole point they give it to you. Absolutely. I mean, you can look it up, but it basically just, the whole reason they give it to those, Adderall makes people crazy. They give it to people that struggle and are, hyperactive to slow them down because their brain chemically is different. Because they have ADHD.
I think doctors do misdiagnose though.
All the time.
Like right now, I think
depression especially. Like I don't want to like not necessarily bring down anyone, but like I feel like it takes a lot more. Like, why do you have to go straight to medications for depression?
I think that you can be depressed and not have depression.
Because here's the thing, haven't you heard all of the antidepressants don't work, antidepressants do work, and how it's so iffy? I feel like a big part of that has to involve with the fact that these people are misdiagnosed. Like, it doesn't work for them because they're taking an antidepressant because they're not depressed.
Yeah, but like like I was saying,
depression
that would
is
fit right in. I think people
mental. You're lacking of serotonin in your brain.
You can get depressed from something.
Oh yeah,
you can get depressed from something in your life and struggle through it for a little bit, but that's different from having depression.
Yes,
depression's
a long term.
It's easy to mix up the two, but because it's easy to think when you're depressed, like this is how it's gonna be forever, but
Absolutely.
It's not gonna be like that forever. But
no.
Some people are depressed.
No, absolutely.
But it's kind of become a cultural trend.
It's become a normalization. I mean, it's like almost encouraged. It absolutely is encouraged. When you are seeing things, all these quirky things on Facebook and Snapchat talking about, oh my God, if you don't have depression, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're just like, I have depression, this is just the way it is. And this is mental illness you're talking about. This is mental illness. Why talk about it so lightly? I mean, I understand that there can be stigmatization with mental illness, but at the same time, when you joke about it, you're just getting different stigmatization in a different bad way. You're thinking of people as like I think they can't take it as seriously when you're joking about your mental illness.
Yeah, and I think everybody's saying I'm depressed.
Which
people who are actually depressed are like,
Toast.
wow, hey, it's my kitty cat.
Featuring Toast the kitty. Okay, I won't pick you up. I'll leave you be Kit Kat. Or you can come to me. That can work.
If you guys don't know, I have a kitty. Her name's Toast.
Toast.
She was a stray, and I found her.
So sweet for a stray.
Yeah. She is sweet for a stray.
Will she jump up on you if I...
She doesn't like listening to people.
Most cats kind of decide for themselves anyway. That's why I like cats.
Yeah, that's the big difference between cats and dogs.
I also like Toasty because I'm allergic to cats, and Toasty doesn't make me sneeze.
Really?
Yeah.
Toasty fucks Dylan up.
Yeah, Dylan's got a different type. I think he's just allergic to all cats. With my thing, I'm more allergic to the cats that shed a lot. Yeah. You know, they leave all their dandruff and their hair around the place, so it screws me up, man. Yeah. I get disabled.
Toast doesn't come downstairs. They come down to the basement a lot. She stays upstairs.
She knows I'm down here. She like, what's up? Been a minute since I seen you, bro. How quarantine?
Yeah. How was quarantine, Nate?
How do you think it was, Jacob? How was your quarantine?
I have not really been. I've been quarantining. I've been social distancing. Okay, I haven't been quarantined.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Yeah. I guess I've been quarantined.
Yeah.
For a good reason though. My papa has some heart issues. So, to say the least, that if he were to get coronavirus, it wouldn't be the best thing in the world for the family. Mm-hmm. So, just for the sake, it's kind of in my mind, a clear decision. Even though, if you look at the facts, there's still always that chance. And when you're bringing something as close as like a life and death thing,
for sure.
I love my dad, dude.
There's no choice there, you know. The thing that's weird about the coronavirus, though, is that, in my opinion, I think that we're overreacting to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not something to take lightly.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something you want to just ignore it. But at the same time, you don't want to destroy the country because of it.
There's absolutely both sides of the spectrum. I mean, there's COVID-19 deniers, and then there's, COVID-19 over-exaggerators where they believe that it's going to end the world. But it's both sides. I feel like it's equal because I see a lot of people still just not taking it seriously.
Yeah, I take it seriously.
When you should be.
I respect it.
Right.
I respect it, but at the same time, I want to reopen the United States.
Yeah. I think we should give it more time, personally. I think a big part of why we're so eager to open up the United States is the government is really excited to make money again.
Well, that is always a part of it, but another big part of it is the government's just giving out stimulus right now. Yeah. Nobody's really working besides essential workers. Who's going to be getting the food? Who's going to be stacking up the grocery stores? And eventually it's going to get to a point where money's not going to have a worth because there's not going to be anything left because nobody's working. The value of money is people working for each other. That's what people don't understand. Yeah. Money has its value because people work. If nobody works, money doesn't have its value. Money doesn't even have a value. We stopped going on the gold standard a long time ago.
I almost partially think that should be a norm because I think that is a lot more consistent. I mean, that's something I have like pounds of silver in safes, and because that's It's only going to get more money in time. Inflation.
Yeah, for
Even though it's low now, it's going to, the next few years, it's absolutely going to spike. Because if you just look at the trends in the history.
This is my opinion. If you have people at your house and you don't want to, like you, Nate, like you chose to stay home in quarantine.
Yeah.
If you feel that way, then you should be allowed to stay home. But for the people that want to go out and work, you should be allowed to do that. The government shouldn't have the right to tell you you can't leave your house.
I agree.
No, like they shouldn't have that
but
right.
But at the same time, like there's still, I think the whole reason they're doing this is like just different people at risk. Like if my dad, like if they had the option, like you can go to work if you want. You know how employers would be. My dad would be forced. I know my dad would be forced to go to work.
Yeah, like essential workers.
He would be like, go to work.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
like
if you have the option to work, your boss is going to be like, go to work.
But that's what I mean by the situation is so sketchy and so gray that there's no clear decision to make here.
That's why I think, in this case, only really time can help because we're learning more and more as time goes on. It's crazy how much we're learning.
Yeah, did you see what me and Tyler were looking up for the coronavirus? That only 3,000 people in Illinois have died from it.
Yeah.
But there's millions of people in Illinois.
Yeah.
So the chance of dying is very, very low.
Slim. So slim.
Also, I saw this on Instagram and Facebook. Just some common knowledge for people, you know, that because they're figuring out things every day.
Yeah.
Right now, they're learning things every day.
That's
about
what's
this.
Kind of so scary about it.
This is per Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
Okay.
She says people should consume more vitamin D. And a study in Indonesia found that out of the patients that died from COVID-19, 98% of them were deficient in vitamin D, while only 4% of the patients with sufficient vitamin D died. So,
yeah,
vitamin D seems to play a big part in it. And another study in New Orleans found that 84% of COVID patients in the ICU were deficient in vitamin D, which again, only 4% of patients in the ICU had sufficient DMT. Not DMT, vitamin D. I'm high, fuck. But you know what I'm saying.
DMT in your system, you're gonna get COVID.
You have DMT. We're all holding, brother. We all got DMT in our
systems. Yeah, it only happens when, like, birth and, like, near-death experiences.
Yeah, we're not talking about that yet, bro. I'm talking about vitamin D. People need to go. Yeah. People need to go and get sunlight. Go get supplements from the local Dollar General if that's what you need to do.
I agree, dude. Here's like a bit.
Vitamin D seems to be very important in not getting too sick and fucked up from this coronavirus. So everyone go out and get some vitamin D.
And just something to add on to that, it's like the same subject is that not only with there's so many supplements that naturally us humans need that we're just not getting. Like, call me a health freak, or even though I'm not a health freak, but I like to take supplements and stuff so I can get enough all these nutrients that are super good for my body. And it's just a drink, but all these stuff that you wouldn't get from your normal food that you just eat every day unless you're eating super good, fresh, straight out of the garden food.
Right.
So,
it's hard to have a good diet now.
It's just better for health. I think with supplements you can definitely cheat.
You definitely want supplements.
You do.
I mean I even take vitamin supplements when I try.
Yeah.
When I have a really bad problem just forgetting shit, and I'll take them for 3 days. I know I'll take them for 3 days and then I'll just forget about it and then I'll hate myself. But I think that a big thing of this is people are starting to wake up that the Chinese government is fucking retarded. Sorry for my using the R word, but they are really stupid. Nobody likes the Chinese government. No, I'm not talking about Chinese people. The Chinese people, they have nothing. Their government is so corrupt.
They're stuck.
They're stuck in this spot where, their government is... Because the Chinese government's really weird. They're not completely communist, and they're not completely capitalist. Mm-hmm. They're not socialist. They're this weird...
They're the outlier.
They're just weird. And they're this rate of growth. But they're also liars. They deceive their own people. They're not...
The Chinese government does not care about its people. Does not care about its citizens.
This is on Fox. I don't like Fox, but I share things on CNN and Fox. I look at both sides of the spectrum.
What can you do? You really should just take your news from everywhere.
But this is what it says. China has arrested hundreds for speaking out about the coronavirus. And
dude...
Chinese authorities on Sunday arrested a lawyer for posting an open letter on social media that criticized the government's handling of the pandemic and its suppression of free speech. So he posted something on social media and he got arrested. That's ridiculous.
Well, man, what a world to live in. Like, this is now. this is people, like, think about it. Like, and there's people our age in that, in that country just suffering, unable to do the things that they want to do.
Yeah, right, man.
I think there's a lot of fucked up things about America and the U.S., but that's something I can give us, is that we have a lot more freedom, whatever you define that word by, because we'll never have true freedom. As long as there's government, there won't be true freedom.
I think the United States mastered the manipulation and illusion of freedom.
Yeah.
They go around going, we're freeing everyone. This is freedom. But they're imperialists, and it's a police. We live in a police state.
And it's turned into so much more. All this country was, when it was based off of freedom, was freedom of religion. Mm-hmm. And now that was it.
Now people are getting censored on YouTube. Now getting censored on Facebook.
Dude, I love YouTube because this is what we're talking on. But at the same time, where the fuck is your AdSense, Jacob? Like, where's your? People are the YouTube is fucked. Like, it does not much anything for its creators.
No, man. YouTube puts the big middle finger towards its creators.
Yeah, I think nowadays it's a big stretch. I won't say that it's impossible, because just for the sake of things, but it is a long stretch to try and become famous, or more or less make a profession off YouTube.
Yeah, I think that. So I'm not worried about being famous.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like if this got big, I'd be like, oh, god damn
it. you have like a responsibility now. You're like, ugh.
Now I can't go to Target without watching what I say. Cause I'm a dumbass. I say things I don't mean.
That's
a lot
what
of the time.
I was kind of worried about this podcast, but I'm booing. I love how there's still the Dasani cup from Tyler's previous podcast.
Tyler was terrible at that.
I love you, Tyler, but you're really bad at guessing water, dude. I figured there'd be a bit more clearance in your testing ability.
I let him keep the Smart Water one, the cucumber lime.
Yeah, that one sounded good. I like cucumber lime.
I didn't want to try it. Actually, now I kind of do want to try it.
Yep, and you're lacking, bro. Humans always want what they can't have.
The grass is always greener on the other yard.
Always. And then you get over there and you realize it's just the light. It's just the sun making the grass brighter.
You know what I also don't like about how the media is handling this outbreak is, they've been ignoring Rand Paul, who is you know who Rand Paul is.
Yeah.
I don't love Rand Paul, but I like a lot of his policies, what he's about.
God.
Anyway, Rand Paul completed medical school at Duke, specialized in, what is that? Ophthalmology? Ophthalmology?
What is that? What is Opath? What is that?
Opeth's an awesome band, but that's not what it's like ophthalmology, and became a surgeon. Okay. And then they look at 16-year-old Greta Thunberg, who dropped out of high school, and they're like, she's an expert.
I like her spirit. Like, I think there's definitely there's too many men. It's both sides of the spectrum. I mean, there's like,
no one should be shitting on. No one should be going on social media and bullying
out there, like this fucking 16-year-old girl passionately speaking about something she believes.
But why?
Retard.
Yeah. Like, no one should be out there like bullying her, but at the same time, she shouldn't even be there.
I agree.
She shouldn't even be there.
She's 16. I agree
that there should be
anything. Younger people into like Senate and House of Representatives.
The government is known for this, and governments throughout the history of the world, they use kids to convey a message. They do it all the time.
The youth
That's
is powerful.
The only reason that they brought her in there, is so that she could go out there acting passionate, so that everyone thinks, oh, that's what the youth want. That's what we'll do. We got to look out for our children. It's a dude. I hate comparisons to Hitler, but Hitler did that.
Yeah.
That's something he did. And governments throughout history have done that.
It's just manipulation. It's huge manipulation.
But at the same time, no one should go out there shitting on her. No one should go out there bullying her. Come on, leave her alone.
I mean, it's not her fault that she is the victim. It's not her fault that the government was like, we're gonna take you for the youth and to like speak. Yeah,
she's getting taken advantage of, and then she takes the fall.
Wasn't she just on like an interview of the coronavirus deal just the other day? I thought she was like.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Is people like CNN still puts her on as like an expert or whatever, and then they don't put Rand Paul on.
Why? What's her like? What's the word? Background. Like, what is she? Where did she get this info?
Doesn't she have a Nobel Peace Prize?
She shouldn't.
I swear if she does, I'm gonna cry. And
Nobel
laugh.
Peace Prize is Nobel Peace. I don't think it's very noble.
Oh, my computer just... There we go.
Toast is really digging me right now.
Yeah, she's never come down here during a podcast.
That's dope.
She has received numerous honors and awards, including the Honorary Fellowship of the Royal Scottish Geographical Society, Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People, and the Youngest Time Person of the Year, the inclusion in the Forbes list of the world's 100 Most Powerful Women, and 2 consecutive nominations for the... Two
Nice
nominations. And it crashed. Fuck.
Toast the kitty.
She doesn't like people telling her what to do or picking her up or anything. But then she comes up to you.
Yeah,
and
then
like,
she comes back and she's like, "Do it again."
She's like, "Pet me."
You a whore for pets. You like them pets.
She likes if you scratch like right above her tail.
Yeah, that's my cat. It's kind of like a universal animal spot for some reason.
Send me pictures of your cats, guys.
Oh, I miss my kitty. He moved out recently. He was my older brother's cat.
Your cat moved out?
Yeah, it was my older brother's cat, and my older brother moved out.
He was like, "Oh, sorry guys, I'm moving in with the wife."
Yeah, seriously. Now he lives with my brother and his girlfriend.
Ah, yeah.
He's living it. I mean, I'm sure he enjoys it there more.
This is something I put up. Jonah Hill passes Samuel L. Jackson for most swear words in film.
I didn't even realize Samuel L. Jackson was like even notably that up there.
Yeah, Hill has cursed 376 times on film compared to 300 bad words for the original badass motherfucker Sam Jackson.
Props to you, Jonah
In
Hill.
third place is Leonardo DiCaprio. What?
These aren't people that I expect would be on this list.
I thought
I mean, Jonah Hill. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Like
I was thinking like Adam Sandler,
Seth
Will Ferrell,
Rogen.
or something. James Franco, or something.
Yeah, why? How is James Franco not
Yeah,
there?
like none of them.
That's so fucking nuts, bro.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I can't even think about him swearing. Like, I can't think of a film where...
Dude, I actually really like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, he's great. In The Great Gatsby, he was super good.
I like Catch Me If You Can. Him and Tom Hanks.
I have not... Tom Hanks has the coronavirus, dude. Do you know about that?
I think he survived out of that. I think he beat it.
Did he?
I think he did.
Dude, I could be wrong. I just remember a few weeks ago hearing about how him and his wife had it.
Yeah, I put it in my song.
Oh, shit. I got coronavirus.
Do you think this is how the world's gonna end, bro?
No. And if it does, I'll be pissed. Pissed!
That we survived 2012, Y2K, the Nazis, the communists.
We're gonna fight a war over this shit.
And now we have the coronavirus, and it's gonna take us out.
And it's gonna be as soon as I turn 18, too. It's gonna be like, you gotta sign up for the draft if you want any of these government, fucking... benefits. So I'm like, okay.
What's fucking with me?
So, no, I don't want to
You
go
gonna
to
be
war.
a draft dodger?
I don't want to be drafted, bro.
Can't you just get out and go to college and not get drafted? Isn't that what Donald Trump did?
I don't know, but I'm not Donald Trump.
Do you think women should be in the included in the draft?
Should women be a part of the military? Yes.
No, but should women be included in the draft? Because right now only men get drafted.
Yeah, I know about that.
And if they want to,
equality.
it's
very.
Isn't it equality if they're in the draft too?
But at the same time.
Like.
Women and children. Someone has to take care for the children.
Someone's got to stay home.
Yep. Okay, that is absolutely fair. That answers the question. Someone has to stay home to watch the child. There's so many families that have children.
Yeah, that'd be really bad if like you're a kid and both your parents got drafted.
So you're just like,
that'd be terrible.
And having to like trust the government, be like, okay, we're gonna open this for you. You can do this, that, so on and so forth. You just no.
That'd be terrible.
It'd be terrible. Awful. There's so many. The kids would be oppressed by the few people that are still working in law enforcement.
I think people would be depressed anyway if there's a war.
Oh well, yeah. War is oppression, so.
But war actually equals profits a lot of the time.
Absolutely. I mean, what's the whole reason we have war? We usually go to war over something.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to get into this on the podcast, but I think 9/11 was an inside job that we used to go to war.
We don't even need to get in on that. I don't know enough to even.
You don't know enough?
I don't know anything.
Dude, do you know what...
Naturally, I want to say that it happened. I'm just...
Do you know what Building 7 is?
Somewhat.
So a Building 7 was across the street.
Yeah.
And it collapsed, too, for no fucking reason. People were like, what? And...
a lot of people say that the people like controlled demolition.
Well, the people that looked into it, the people doing like the insurance people or whatever, they concluded that it was blown up. And when the press got a hold of that and questioned the guy who owned the building, and I'll get more into him in a minute, he was like, "Oh, it was scheduled for demolition." But at the same exact time as 9/11, at the same exact moment, come on, bro.
Right.
And not only that, but the guy who owned Building 7 was the same guy who owned the Twin Towers. And just a few weeks before 9/11, he filed a suit where he would receive like $2 billion if his if the towers were to be attacked by terrorists by plane.
And this is factual.
Yeah, look it up.
If this is factual, I mean.
Look it up.
I must have to sometime. I mean, like I'm about to say, if that's factual, that's just enough to tell you right there. That doesn't just happen right before it happens.
Yeah, he at least he was.
That's like writing a will, like writing your husband's will, having everything to you, and
then. Not like 9/11. So many people died, but it was terrible. It was a terrible national tragedy. But then
changed the world.
But the government profited so much off of it. George W. Bush has to date the highest approval rating of any sitting president because of 9/11.
Because of it, because of just he's a good people's person. I think he is.
Bush, a lot of people don't. Bush was like Trump before Trump was in office. People made fun, but he also had the highest approval rating.
I think in that time frame,
like around 9/11.
Yeah, he definitely gave comfort to the American people, which we needed.
Because everyone looked to him.
Yeah,
they were like, "Well, what do we fucking do now?"
It's the president. We're always. I mean, I think up until now, I feel like the validity of the presidency is starting to go down. But obviously, presidential has always been, in normal people's minds and Simps' minds are like, that's too weird.
I think we just need to accept that they're fucking lizards.
If they are, bro, I'm accepting it. I'd accept it. I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm run by lizard people. There's nothing I can do about it.
What if they are lizard people, bro? What would we do? What is there to do? We have lizard overlords. What do we do?
Cry. That's it.
They could take the shape of us.
Cry. That's all you do. You're hopeless. I mean,
at that point, we're like ants or rats, and they're the
unless you're like
species.
Elon Musk, you can't do anything.
Dude, Elon Musk has said "fuck you" to California.
Really?
Yeah, he reopened his plant. He says he's moving his headquarters to Texas. Dude, and the people are not happy about it. Here, let me find.
What was it Elon Musk said? He was like arguing that he wanted to be open still, and even the like Donald Trump was just like, yeah, you do you, Elon.
Yeah. Well, Donald Trump tweeted him and was like, "I'm proud, like good job," and all Musk said was like, "Thanks" or something. And a person commented on retweeted on that was like, "You disagreed with Donald Trump," and he was like, "Well, that's a really close-minded way of looking at it. You can just." If you're looking at someone like trying to disagree with them,
he's
what are you
100% wrong all the time. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like Lorena Gonzalez, who is a sitting member in California's like local government.
Yeah.
She's part of the government, and she tweeted "fuck Elon Musk."
He's doing so much.
And he said "message received."
He's doing so much.
Yeah.
He's bringing internet to people all over the parts of the world. You remember when Dylan was like, bro, I just saw a UFO in the sky, dude? And it ended up just being Elon Musk's satellite to just get out internet to people that can't get internet. Whole time.
Yeah, man. Like, it's just crazy to me that everyone thinks the Donald is so crazy like that. But then we have people sitting in Congress that literally just said, fuck Elon Musk.
Yeah.
What? How? Not in Congress, but in their local government.
We can't.
It's like, that's ridiculous.
Either though we should. I don't know. I think not trusting your government is as stupid as 100% following them.
But you know of all the shit they've done. MK
Dude,
Ultra,
I believe it's
all they injected. They took a big ass group of African American men in Louisiana, and they implanted them with syphilis and like a bunch of STDs is at their doctor. Didn't tell them. Waited till they found out and were like, "Oh shit, man, that's crazy." Imagine like not having sex and finding out you have like a STD and being like, "What the fuck?" And then the doctor's like, "We got the cure." And they inject you with a vaccine, more syphilis. That's what they were doing, and they were testing them. That's terrifying.
Dude, there's so many tests that we can just get into. Like, I mean, obviously they're hiding it from us, but stuff has to be tested. I mean, people have to die for the sake of good things.
I think that the programs that the government implements aren't inherently bad, but the government is just so terrible at managing things. It's so terrible at managing things that everything it does is not the way it should have been.
Absolutely.
And I think that we need to take these programs that the government wants to implement and more give them to have a private company run it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
There you go, Boko. But yeah, I mean, what can you do though? I mean, like we're talking about this, but what it comes down to is solutions to problems. What can we do? Not only people like us, but just everyday people. What can you do?
For sure, bro. I think it's time we do the album of the week.
The album of the week. All right. I picked a good one for this one.
Yeah, you did. I've had both of them be 70s albums.
Yeah, this one's recorded in 1971 in London, England. It's an English band.
Yeah, man. Okay. This album of the week is Aqualung by Jethro Tull. Yeah.
So good. Very good album.
It's the fourth studio album by rock band Jethro Tull, released in 1971. Widely regarded as a concept album featuring a central theme of the distinction between religion and God. Although the band themselves have said that there's no intention of making a concept album, and only a few of the songs actually have a theme.
Yep.
This album would be the turning point for the band, where they would all go on to be a major radio and touring act.
Yeah, they're huge, and I think the Jethro Tull, the main guy, he like basically sold out and started doing comedy.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
like stand up.
I like stand up.
Well, okay,
though.
but just I don't know. It's like he blocks the comments on his YouTube videos and just
Really?
Yeah, and super. I don't know. I guess it's not selling out, but just stick to the music. You're so good at it. Your stand up is back.
See, I've heard of them, but I never listened to them before.
Yeah, I never listened to them until as of recently. I was looking through my extensive vinyl collection. There's lots of records I just haven't listened to that I've bought, just put it back. And I noticed that the album art was pretty intriguing. The old man that's just like, just looking mischievous. So I put it on expecting some like doomish, 80s metal. And next thing I know, it's just this super intricate, like rock ballad. It's so dope.
Yeah,
like the title track, Aqualung. Ooh, so good. The lyrics, just especially the rhythm, the do 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 do.
Yeah, bro. It's really.
And this is 1970. That's a big part of it is that these guys were just ahead of their time.
The guitar when it does get heavy reminds me a lot of early Black Sabbath. Mm-hmm. You can hear that like early 70s.
Yeah, well they're from England.
Like heavy rock was just at that time becoming
1970.
a thing. Yeah, and the album is 42 minutes, and it begins with 3 songs: the title track "Aqualung," "Cross-Eyed Mary," and "Cheap Day Return." 3 songs with completely different, but somehow come together really well. The first song reminds me of early career Witchcraft and Black Sabbath, and the smoothness of Cheap Day Returns is just simply pleasurable to listen to. The medieval vibe continues through the whole album, but picks up heavy in certain spots, and it really shows the variety and abilities that kind of blend the different styles of music, and they really make it their own.
No, yeah, it's an experience for real. You listen to it as its whole. It's just this beautiful. They're all almost connected, basically. They're just similar vibes. They just lead into one of each other. It's so good, especially
really like
the
the
flute.
vocals.
Yeah, the vocals are really good. I don't think I've heard much vocals like it.
Yeah.
Because something I like what he does is that I get like a medieval vibe almost,
Yeah.
like an early music vibe.
Yeah.
And it's so dope. I mean, he's doing flutes, and you never, especially now, you don't hear that. I mean, I know Pink Floyd did some flute stuff in their real early '60s shit, but it's so dope.
Yeah, man.
It makes you feel so much too, especially the title track "Aqualung." It just like, it's just so gritty and nasty and just ugh.
And then it mellows out through the and then somewhere towards the end it starts getting that like hardness kind of back again with the last few songs.
It starts getting weird. It starts getting more like thought process. I forgot what the song
there was one that was called My God.
Yep. I was about to say it was one God. It's like a 7-minute song, but that's like a turning point for the album.
Yeah.
It starts getting more just intricate, like lyric wise and meaningful. Like that song, My God, is good. Especially, like, I recommend listening to the lyrics.
Yeah, I'm really glad I started this album the week thing, which was your idea originally, because now I'm listening to these albums I would have never listened to before. The first one with Tyler, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. It wasn't the best. This one I actually really like, and I'll definitely listen to again.
I figured you would like this one as well. Like, it's just a similar vibe.
I just think music from back then, like we were talking earlier, just like the production on it just feels so much way more real.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the production now, not to say that it's bad because it's got its time and place as well, where I want to hear computer synthesized music, but at the same time, listening to that, it sounds like I'm hearing a performance, actually. Something that someone, rather than like working, they put their creative energy into, and it's art rather than something that's like, here's my paycheck, let me make the beat, let me quantize everything perfectly. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Like, I feel like when I listen to modern music, especially when, like the rock music especially, just sounds so computer processed. It doesn't feel like humans are actually playing it. Like,
well, they're not.
But that's what I don't like about pop music. I like all music, right? But pop music as like a genre, it's just like, it's fake to me. It's like, it's an industry. They pump it out. They pump it out like a car. Like, it would make Harrison Ford proud. The assembly line bullshit that they have going on right now. They have two or three guys that write 70-80% of the modern pop songs. You good, bro?
Yeah, I'm good.
It's just, I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess what can you do? Kind of everything's going to be industrialized. And
you think so?
Well, think about it. Almost everything is. Almost everything is a streamlined run of quickness. I mean, go to get your food. Think about it. It takes time to make food. Have you ever, like, made your own meal or anything like that? Cooking food takes time. Not only that, looking for food takes time. I mean, just... That's a whole thing we can get to. Man, I'm glad to live in the age that I do.
Really? I always wished I lived in, like, the 90s.
Well, okay. I meant as in, like past 50 years. I'm glad I'm alive in the past 50 years.
Yeah.
That way I didn't have to face any true problems like, you know, living in
World
like
War II.
17th century, 18th century, 19th century stuff. Yeah, exactly. World War II, stuff like that. The fact that I didn't have to go through the Great Depression or anything like that.
You're going through the Second Great Depression.
You think so?
I definitely think so.
I don't...
The job... Right now, people have less jobs than they did during the Great Depression. And inflation's only going to go up. And
I think...
businesses are never going to... Local businesses are never going to reopen. There's going to be businesses that never reopen, never recover.
There's lots of people that just lost their jobs in general from this stuff. I'm very grateful that I was able to keep my job, and I'm considered a essential worker because it's under media, it's entertainment, so you gotta keep media and entertainment up. So
yeah, and then the government's like, you know, all this shit's going on right now. People are upset. People are dying. Let's just give them aliens. Let's just give it to them.
The murder hornets.
No one even cares though. No one, like Pentagon confirmed. Yeah, these are UFOs, dog. No one even cares. No one cares. No. They're all just like, when's this coronavirus shit ended?
When is it over? I want to see my friends.
Yeah, man.
I want to do this. I want to do that. Which it sucks, but at the same time, just for the sake of keeping things good, make the right decision.
What's your view on aliens?
It's stupid to say they're not real. How fucking big is space? You think there's just one planet like you know, just only one planet like ours that's able to to keep up life, you know?
Right.
No, that's wrong. Space is too huge, and you're just moronic to say that there isn't other life forms out there.
And
whether or not they're visiting us, I don't think so, because I think space is, like I said, infinitely huge, and even completely just, smart, advanced species, it's still going to take time.
For sure. I think that...
And they're also smarter than us, so they're going to make us not see them.
Well, they could be smarter. They could be stupid. Life doesn't have to be at all like how we have it here. Like,
you're right, but I think
people think there could be small microorganisms that developed from silicone on Titan.
Right. Who's to say what sentience is?
Because we're a carbon-based life form.
Yeah.
They think that they can make that. There could be life forms that are silicone-based or other types of base that would be completely different from us.
That's
like they would be so different from us. They're different from us at the molecular level.
So you know how we're doing carbon dating to like find out
I know
stuff
what
in the
carbon
earth.
Dating is.
Yeah, like in the earth, like how old it is. Why aren't we doing that with other things?
What do you mean?
Like I don't know, maybe potentially look for these new life forms that are, because like I said, 99% of all animals.
Well, we haven't been to Titan yet.
Well, I guess yeah.
They actually think, and this is what I think too, is when the sun grows, because it's only going to get bigger, the sun is, and eventually it's going to swallow Earth and Mars, not Mars, it's Earth, Mercury, and Venus. It's going to swallow them. And then Titan, the moon of, I think it's Saturn, it's Saturn.
Like that.
The moon of Saturn would be right in the habitable zone of our solar system. And they think that there would be silicone-based life forms that use, because the lakes aren't water. There's lakes on Titan, but they aren't water. They're it's like carbon monoxide. No, it's like nitrogen or some shit like that. They're like nitrogen lakes.
Gotcha.
And they think that the silicone-based life forms could survive off those nitrogen, just like we survive off oxygen and water.
I mean, it makes sense. It's weird how life works, that there's just always this way of just, we have to survive, like we have to keep going, and for what, we'll never know. But other than maybe the purpose to just do, just that purpose.
You don't think anyone knows why we're here?
No one does. No one does, and if you say you know why we're here, you're an imbecile. I'm sorry, because there is no human comprehension. That's out of human comprehension to know why we're here. It doesn't take much to realize that it would be something bigger than us if we can't even grasp the concept of why we're here. And I'm not even saying there's God. That's not what I'm referring to as a higher concept. I'm just saying that
things that we can't mentally grasp.
Things that we can't grasp mentally.
Because we think we're all knowing. We think we're God at this point. That we're all knowing we're God.
Yeah.
As a race, as a species. But when you think about it, if you tried to show a monkey a painting or a dog like a book, they're gonna look at it and be like, I don't know what the fuck that is, and they're just not even gonna think about it because they don't have the mental capacity to think about it. So if there's things around us at all times that we don't even know about because we can't mentally comprehend.
There is. I mean, for example, there's colors that exist that our human eyes don't perceive, but other animals do. So there's.
Well, color's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Well, I was just talking about kind of the whole vision aspect that you were talking about. That there's stuff that we can see, but I think there's other things that can't see that.
Yeah, like I always talk about.
I mean, dogs can see magnetic fields apparently.
Yeah, I always talk about when I take mushrooms, I feel like I am more aware of my.
You definitely are.
Like I'm opening parts of my brain.
That's exactly what it is.
That you can't use.
I'm pretty sure the science of it is actually it's opening, it's creating more neurons that passage through and you're using more of your brain than you would be if you weren't. And that's something that monks and all these Buddhist people search. They do it the hard way, obviously, of trying to be enlightened by nature and different things. But that's the goal that they're kind of looking for. Is the enlightenment, just opening up more brain and being more of an enlightened individual.
Yeah, I think that's really a big way to go. Mm-hmm. That people don't really see into that a lot.
It's definitely iffy.
People buy more.
People are different.
I just hate like the whole internet fads of people like, I'm a Buddhist. They don't even know what a Buddhist is. They share like shit on Facebook and it's like
I really like to practice
horoscopes and stuff.
Yeah, I really like astrology. I really like astrology.
Or the e-girls that are like, come stare at the night sky with me and we'll talk about conspiracy theories in space. But then I try to do that and they're like, bitch, you crazy.
Oh my god, that's rude.
Shut up.
Oh my god. Just look at the stars, Jesus Christ. Pack another bowl, Jacob.
They're trying to suck your
Fuck
dick.
Off.
And I'm trying to talk about fucking aliens and space, and they unzip my pants. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop. I'm trying to talk to you about the cosmos.
Yeah, exactly. Just look at the stars.
Telescope and chill.
Sup, Toast? Toast has really been active in this podcast.
Yeah, she's never been on a podcast before.
She's like almost another member with how often she just been jumping up and reaching for my arm and stuff. Yeah, Toast. I'm excited to be here on the In the Basement podcast.
Are you excited to be on In the Basement?
Yeah. That's why I did it. Yeah. Here's a question for you. How do you like the In the Basement podcast?
How do I like In the Basement?
Let's find a little bit more about our host Jacob Heikkinen.
I started the podcast because I wanted to have a podcast for quite a long time.
Yeah. What inspired you to have one?
Well, I always just thought I was too young, and no one would listen to me.
Right.
And then
people listen to Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, that's when I kind of realized that, bro, people might listen to me, and even if they don't, like, if they can think a little bit more, just about like what I say, then goal.
Yeah, I think.
It's like people be like, Jacob, why do you have a podcast? I'm like, you're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Why
you're
do you
talking
have a podcast?
about it.
Because I do. And it's not much to you. These are just you're recording conversations, man. I can think about how many podcast episodes we had if we had surreal syndrome. Like if we just recorded every time we talked about stuff.
See, that's why I wish I would have started this a long time ago.
Absolutely. I want to start writing down more about my day, like every day, because Alzheimer's is like a real rampant thing among not only just people, but like I know my aunt has it. So like,
yeah, my grandma died of Alzheimer's.
You can die from Alzheimer's? I didn't even know.
Maybe she died and she had Alzheimer's.
Okay. I was like,
but she was like so gone. She would call my mom Oldsmobile.
Oldsmobile. What's an Oldsmobile?
It's like the first car my mom ever had. It's like olds, like the word Oldsmobile.
That's so sad.
And that's she couldn't remember her name, so she just called her Oldsmobile.
Yeah, she's picking up a little bit, but not all of it. So she's just like struggling to remember.
It's really
ozone.
tragic.
She was driving in ozone.
Dude, those mental illnesses are really crazy.
It's
schizophrenia,
it's so
bipolar disorder,
it's terrifying.
Alzheimer's, dementia, all those things.
Especially Alzheimer's and dementia.
I think psychotherapy could be a big help in these areas, but the science has just been cut off by the government.
Music therapy has been a huge thing that's helped dementia like patients and Alzheimer's
music
patients.
Therapy?
Yeah. Well, Jacob, think about it. Okay, so for me and you, we listen to a lot of music, right? And
of course.
I don't know about you, but my music taste always changes with, time period. It just always changes.
Same.
And for me, at least, when I think of times, like I'll think of 8th grade, I kind of naturally think about listening to the Front Bottoms because I would every day before I shower and go to school and that kind of stuff. Music has such a big part of remembrance in your life and relates to different things. It's just been proven, like, different Alzheimer's patients, they've showed them music that from their time period that they would have listened to, and they start remembering more. Because I think about it all, like I said, Front Bottoms, I was super into them in 8th and 9th grade, so if obviously I forget 8th and 9th grade, and I hear the Front Bottoms, something that is tied insanely with that time period, I'm going to remember more of that time period.
Exactly, like, I used to be I still like Marilyn Manson, but I used to be he was like my favorite. And
it takes you back when you listen to
when I listen to that stuff now, I actually I kind of feel like I'm in that time period. You know what I mean? Like
same.
I start to remember like how I thought back then.
I get nostalgic of it. I'll put on some Front Bottoms. And
nostalgia is a drug, bro.
It is. It's a whack thing.
It's crazy.
It's weird how it works.
It is.
I wonder what the science of it is.
Nostalgia is such like a big thing now, though. Like, people are more nostalgic now than ever, now that we have the internet.
Maybe it's just a reminder of ignorance. Because because no, I don't want to say that, but I just want to say, I feel like a big part of being happy and being sad. I feel like intelligence isn't necessarily the key to being happy. I definitely believe the smarter you are, because just it's more real. You get to see things. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing why I think you're so happy as a kid, because you don't know all these bad things. You don't know. You know, you're innocent. You're pure. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think
so it takes
everyone should try to be smarter. You know what I mean?
Nothing was bad. Absolutely.
Everyone should be more intelligent, but at the same time,
considerate.
There's more to life than being intelligent. It's being a good person, being happy with where you're at in your life.
Because how much of that does that really matter? Like, especially take away schooling, take away stuff like that, different competitions. What do you got?
Yeah.
How much does your actual education help you?
A good piece of kind of advice that I was given by a teacher was to not look for happiness, to look for contentment.
Yeah.
Be okay. Being happy is it's an emotion. It's not a permanent state.
Never there.
Just like being sad, it's an emotion. It's not a permanent state.
Ups and downs.
Contentment is a permanent state.
Mm-hmm.
If you can be content with your life, then you win.
Mm-hmm.
If you're content with your life, you win.
For yourself. Absolutely. I could agree more. I mean, it's just staying right in the middle. There's always constant ups and downs, uncontrollable ups and downs. But if you learn to be okay with where you are and your surrounding and everything, it's obviously going to make the whole situation a lot better, because you have that constant okayness to go to.
Yeah, and obviously there are times where you're not going to be okay with where you're at, and that's okay.
And that's something. It's not as easy as just saying one thing and listening to it and following that. The human mind, it varies. So many things are different. Follow what works for you. Honestly, figure out what works for you, and do it.
Exactly. Like for me, I like just sitting down, smoking a blunt, and playing my guitar.
Yeah, and I like doing that too.
I like meditating. I'm bad on doing it every day.
I've tried that in 8th grade, and it's something I want to get into more, because I truly don't believe I've really ever been in a conscious, of not thinking, or just awareness, being one with everything. So I guess that's something that I'll have to try more often, or try.
You have to have the right mindset. Just sit there and count your breaths, and really meditation is not so much the absence of thinking, it's the focus of thinking. You're focusing on yourself. You're focusing on your breathing. You're focusing on something to try to.
Well, here's something.
To block out all the background noise.
Did you watch? You've watched Midnight Gospel, right?
Of course.
Yeah. You know that.
If you haven't, shout out to Midnight Gospel. Yeah. Shout out to Duncan Trussell. Go check it out.
You know that last episode where he's talking to his mom and everything, right?
I didn't watch that one yet. I haven't manned up.
So you haven't watched Midnight Gospel?
I've watched the first. What's there? 7 or 8 episodes? 8 episodes.
Jacob, I can't even make my point now.
Bro, I can't watch the last one because everyone talks about how sad it is, and
have you seen the memes? What do you know about the last?
I know it has to do with his mom, and I know that it was him. That's actually Duncan talking to his mom before she died.
Yeah.
I know all that stuff. I know what it's about. I just I know that I'm not ready for it.
Well, would you want me to tell you this small little information about the episode?
I don't care, man. Go for it.
It's basically where she's talking to Duncan. It's only a small part, but it's near the end where she's talking to Duncan and telling him that people should be more aware. And she asks Duncan to close his eyes and feel take your hand and put all your direct energy focusing on your hand, and really just feel everything. Think of nothing else. Close your eyes and focus in on a body part of yours, and you're gonna feel everything. You're gonna feel the blood flowing through your veins. You're gonna feel the pulse, and it's just insane what focus can really do when you just stop everything and pay attention. Because it gets into a state. It's weird. It's a state of mind. I would almost say it's an emotion, because in video game I'll notice it, where I'm super hyper aware, and you just you get in that the zone. I'm saying, you're doing so good. You're doing so good. You see everything coming before it happens, but it's crazy. That's crazy. That's just a natural human instinct. Think about that. That's what kept us alive. That's what humans are amazing, but awful. I think the only
so weird.
It's weird.
We as a species are so fucking weird. We are a weird ass species. Why are we here? Who the fuck are we? Where did we come from?
We were almost extinct one time. 14,000. At one point, there was only 14,000 humans, Homo sapiens, that lived.
Yeah. Was it during the Ice Age?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, when that fucking... They've confirmed that there was an impact site in... I talked with Andrew about this. An impact site in northern Greenland that they think was a giant asteroid. That's what wiped out thousands of years of civilization. They think that there was a huge civilization, and it got
Amazon
wiped out.
Even. Like,
yeah.
There's so many civilizations.
Look up Graham Hancock, and you will believe me.
I mean, what did they say? Didn't they say, like, the Amazon used to be a desert, basically?
No.
Or it was like an ocean.
The Sahara Desert used to be a forest.
Okay, I got it mixed up. That's right. But yeah, wasn't the Amazon like an ocean? Maybe.
No, dude. The Amazon is a huge fucking jungle.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah. I know the Amazon's a huge jungle.
The Amazon. The big deal. The reason it was a big deal that it was on fire. The big deal with it being on fire was that the Amazon makes up 20% of the world's oxygen.
Yeah.
It creates 20% of the world's oxygen.
So it's burning up real quick.
It's really important for us.
Well, yeah.
We need oxygen. Actually, what if it's oxygen that kills us? Because you know how oxygen, like, it takes rust and it just fucking completely crushes it? What if oxygen is actually bad for our lungs? And
I don't know.
That's what ages us.
Try living without it.
No, but okay. That's what I'm...
So, what would be...
We need it to live, but it's actually what's killing us.
Maybe. I know, you know Ozzy Osbourne, of course. He's sober, but something he still does is that he has this oxygen tank in his house, and he'll just, go up and... Because that much oxygen in your body, it stimulates you. You get a bunch of dopamine, and it's like a drug.
You ever heard of I think it's called the Wuhan technique? I tried it a couple times. I can't remember what it's completely called, but basically you lay down and you do these breathing exercises, and you can get high from it.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
I remember trying that, but I don't know. I felt like endorphins rush, which probably was real, but I didn't feel high.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times, and it actually really helps me just breathe.
It helped me calm down a lot when I did it in like 8th or 9th grade when I was interested in that stuff, and I was like, I'll just try it without doing it. Without doing this.
I was just trying to get high.
Well, it wasn't like that.
No, I see that stuff's important though, and no one really talks about it. No one really does it. I myself, I admit I'm bad on doing it every day.
What's that?
Just being aware and meditating and breathing.
I definitely should put more into that. I like to consider myself a very aware person, in general though. I like to just be aware and be in the now and realize things when I can.
Yeah, and that's the beauty when I play music. Okay. Like, I'm so in the moment. That's why I love it so much. I love
weird
playing
how it
music
works.
with people.
It's like something that you're about to do it. You're like, I feel like this is not going to work. And then you do it, and you're just like, that was great. That was phenomenal.
Right. And it's the weird thing about playing music with people is, like, you can hear people's personalities in the music they play.
Right.
It's really interesting. Like, everyone plays... You could have 10 different people with a guitar, and every one of them play it differently.
Yeah. No. I mean, the music you listen to just impacts that. And that's why I recommend everyone to pick up an instrument.
Yeah, even if it's the harmonica or...
Harmonica's dope. Dope as hell.
Cool.
I have a harmonica, and it's great.
It's just, every time I hear it now, I just think Weird Al.
I don't have that association as much, but I can see... When I think of Weird Al, I think of the organ,
yeah, that's what it is.
The key, what's the word?
Another one
accordion?
on the bus,
that's
or
right,
something like that.
The accordion that he's playing.
Oh.
That's what I
play the accordion. More people need to play the accordion and the bagpipes.
Yeah, my bandmate Maddie has what's it called? Has an accordion, not an organ. God. Shout out to Maddie, my band member. Shout out to Aiden too, because he's also my band member. They'll probably be they're watching this. I haven't told them about it, but they'll be watching this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Why did I not introduce you as Verbal Static Snake Jackson?
Yeah, introduce me as Verbal Statics Nate Jackson.
I guess we're just gonna restart the whole thing.
No thank. How long have we been even talking for?
An hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, that seems like 45 more or less. That's cool. We've already done a whole hour and 20 minutes worth.
Yeah.
Wasn't that how long your first podcast was?
No, my first podcast with Miles was only 45 minutes.
Whew. Dang, Jacob, you're adding more content, bro. Good stuff.
Yeah, the longest one is the one with Connor. It's
an
hour
and for like 2 hours.
It's an hour and like 50-something minutes.
It's good. Shout out to Connor.
Shout out to Connor Donaldson. Shout out to Andrew Ashley.
Yeah,
shout out to Miles Wolf. Shout out to Dylan.
Yeah, shout out to all you guys because I was shouted out.
Shout out to Tyler Romine.
In all those episodes.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for that.
And we are back.
We are back. The camera is
I
live.
thought I was going to end it, and I was like, nah.
No, we weren't ready. There was too much to talk about. Too much.
We started talking again, and I'm like, bro, why are we not podcasting?
Yeah.
Why aren't we podcasting right now?
We can always just pick out the goods, either way.
It's like editing a podcast is like doing surgery. Just cut into it a little bit.
You're right. I think that's the better thing to do is just have like a 4-hour thing and then pick out the best moments. But that can be a little time consuming.
It's super time consuming.
Super.
Editing sucks.
And
Anyone
that's
who
the
knows
whole
anything
thing.
about editing sucks. It's super boring. And technology
Really
just
does.
constantly fucks you over. I'm always getting screwed over by technology. I hate it.
Yep.
You try to send a fucking video and it's like file size too big.
File size too big. Over 30 megabytes.
I almost had a nervous breakdown when I made the Connor podcast.
Oh, it almost didn't upload or something?
What happened was I couldn't, because I had problems with the audio. And for some reason, whenever I would put a video on my flash drive, and I had to do a bunch of shit to even be able to do that, and put it on. So my internet's so bad, I have to upload the videos from my girlfriend's house. And
nice. Shout out to Hannah.
Shout out to Hannah. And she's the MVP, but
the best.
I have to upload it there. And it would always be too quiet. Like if you guys watch the Andrew one, it's so quiet. Like the podcast is really good, but it's just quiet.
Yeah, I was able to fix that. I went into my computer settings and made it really loud.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, anyone that has watched that podcast, go into your audio settings, go to your audio device, and there's going to be a little option that's going to be noise equalization, where it's going to take small things that are too quiet and make them normal sound, and it's also what it's going to do is also take things that are too loud and make them normal level of sound. So just turn that on for the sake of good.
Cool.
Yeah. Something I figured out. It is nice.
I was just really frustrated by that because I didn't even know it was quiet until someone said it was like the Andrew one is quiet, and then I checked it and I was like, bro. Because that's not how it came out.
Exactly.
When I made the video, it wasn't quiet in my computer.
Many things get compressed and different things like that.
And to fix it on the Connor one, because I was like, I'm not doing 2 podcasts that are too quiet.
Yeah, fuck that.
And it took me, I stayed up all night that night.
Good man.
Trying to just fucking figure it out, driving back and forth from my house to Hannah's house like at least 5 times.
At night?
Like at 4 in the morning.
Damn.
Like I remember the sun was just rising.
Dedicated motherfucker.
I wanted that podcast up, and I figured it out. But I almost had like a nervous breakdown, man. Technology is always screwing me over.
Well,
it never
you get
works.
so far, and you think it's going so good, and then all of a sudden it's like something's wrong.
Yeah, the first episode was actually supposed to be in March. It was supposed to be in the middle of March, and my equipment basically. I didn't have the right stuff for what I wanted to do, and I kept buying more shit and trying to figure it out, and then I needed something else, my computer, and then eventually my laptop just stopped like working with that, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this the old-fashioned way with a Tascam. It works pretty good.
No, yeah, this it's got a vibe to it for sure. I can't wait to see it grow because I mean this is the podcast spot. Yeah. Obviously you have fucking dope ass Arizona tea. All this decorative shit, but with every podcast, you just see the background grow and grow.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
background
exciting.
was definitely something I focused on when I grew the
It's
podcast.
something you should because when you're not listening and if you're watching, what are you looking? You're just looking around the room.
Yeah,
you know?
Eventually, actually, because my camera's fucking ass. It always cuts out after a while. The battery drains fast. You can't even see that shit well.
It's about time.
I'm gonna get a new camera soon. I'm actually gonna get 2 of the same camera. We're gonna put one there and one there, and it's gonna go from face to face a lot.
Hell yeah! Oh yeah, like Joe Rogan. Yeah,
like a lot of
dope.
like any,
like most cinema, cinema transitions.
But at
to
the same
face
time,
of
I've kind of grown to like the
yeah.
look of how
this
I have
has an
it.
aesthetic to it, but
Yeah.
change isn't bad. Change is good, especially with these things like this. Bettering it, and, what do you lose? Oh my God, the quality is better. Fuck you. I hate it. Oh.
Yeah, but with anything, I'm not trying to make money off the podcast. So
It'd be stupid if you were.
So I have to put my own money into the podcast and not get anything out of it except for pleasure,
I mean,
and so honestly, like, I'm cool with right now using these shitty tripods. Like, you brought your own tripod.
Yeah. Shout out to Tripod.
I'm gonna get new ones. I'm gonna get another mic, so we're gonna start being able to have 3 people on again.
Yeah.
That was interesting. What the first one is,
Oh,
I
that
had 2
was
people on
great.
at once.
I really like the concept of that because it's like this is just me and you. Adding another person is just adding.
Yeah, it's a whole other layer.
It's a whole exactly.
It's a whole nother perception.
layer of someone being like, that's bullshit, or I don't know about that. And that's entertaining, dude.
Oh, yeah, for sure, dude.
Like, seeing Brendan Schaub and Joe Rogan and Eddie Bravo all together, just like...
Oh, yeah. See, the thing... The reason I haven't had 3 people on again is these 2 mics are connected to the Tascam. The other mic is on my laptop. And it got to a point where the editing was so confusing and so... just ridiculous that I'm like, I'm just gonna wait a little bit and eventually I'll have 3 people on again.
Yeah.
I kind of like the personal one-on-ones though.
Yeah, I think there's time and place for both.
With 3 people, it's hard for everyone to get whatever they want to say out because you gotta wait for your turn. You're listening to other people. The conversation's constantly shifting and changing.
That's something. Yeah, that's something that you even have to like worry about with person-on-person conversation. Always saying what you want to say or waiting for the person. It's so just another It's like Xbox Live chats. You remember those when you were younger?
Dude, I had PlayStation 3.
Or your PSN chats, if you would. You goddamn loser.
Dude, don't call me a loser. Okay. PSN was... Dude, you had to pay for Xbox Live, you got scammed, bro.
I agree.
I played PS3 for free online.
Yeah. I think it's pretty fraudulent that we have to pay money to access our... No, we have to pay money to access and use our own internet. Yeah. We have to buy a subscription to use our internet.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And the thing is, the thing that makes it even more scam is most games nowadays are either single player or only multiplayer, like online. There's no co-op
or co-op or any...
There's no split
it's
screen.
Sad.
There's none
because
of that.
Because
they want your money.
I used to look forward to going to a homie's house and being like, hell yeah, we gonna play this LAN game. Hell yeah, we gonna play this co-op game.
The best times I have on games are with other people.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
when you play split screen with someone, you're working on the same TV.
We should play some video games tonight, by the way.
That's why I play Black Ops 1 on my PS3 still. I still play my PS2 and my PS3. And there's no shame in it. There's no shame in playing older generation consoles just because you want those old games. There's no shame in it.
Absolutely, dog. I mean, I frequently hit my GameCube all the time.
Really?
Yeah. I love, like, the original Animal Crossing, Super Mario Sunshine. All of that stuff is so good, man.
Dude,
those games can't be beat.
But Nintendo's on a whole nother level. You know what I mean? There's Sony and Microsoft.
Okay.
There's been these competing forces, and then Nintendo is the guy in the corner. The guy in the corner.
He's always gonna win.
But yeah, Nintendo.
Everyone's gonna love him.
Everyone thinks like when the Wii U came out and it was a disaster.
I didn't like Wii U.
The Wii U was a disaster.
Yeah.
And when the Wii U came out, everyone was like, Nintendo's done. They're done.
Of course not.
And they came back with the Switch, and they fucked shit up. I want a Switch. I haven't been able to get a Switch, and I really want a Nintendo Switch.
I'm really, really craving to play the brand new Animal Crossing, the new Horizons.
And I want to.
I can't. But I'm not gonna bring myself to pay an upmark of $100 for these Switches.
Yeah, the thing though about Nintendo is the exclusives. People buy Nintendo for the exclusives. Same reason I like PlayStation more than Xbox.
Oh, absolutely.
So PlayStation has way better exclusive games than Xbox does. Xbox.
Oh yeah.
You got Halo. You got Gears of War.
I agree with that.
And you got Call of Duty map packs. Good luck with that. Yeah, bitch. I got The Last of Us. I got Uncharted. I got all those games. I got Infamous. I have Spider-Man PS4.
Right. Have you happened to play Detroit Become Human? I believe that's a PS4
I know
exclusive.
what that is, and I saw the Rad Brad. Shout out to the Rad Brad. Saw the Rad Brad play a little bit of it.
It's so good. It is so good. I mean, obviously,
it's made by the guys who made Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
Heavy Rain's amazing.
Really
Heavy Rain. That was the first ever. Not the first ever, but one of the first PlayStation 3 games I ever played was Heavy Rain.
Yeah, it was a PS3 exclusive.
Yeah, and it was amazing.
It was really good. It was a little. I remember playing it, and the controls were a little wonky.
That was always the criticism of the game was the controls.
Yeah, they were wonky. They were wonky as hell.
It's the same with the one that was the follow.
Detroit Become Human's so much better though. The controls are what you would want in that kind of game.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, play it. I'm not messing around with you. That game is seriously my favorite game of all time, and
really?
I'm not much of a gamer.
I am.
I mean, I used to be. When it comes to as now, I'm really not. I don't play video games as like a majority of my time, but I used to. Like Xbox 360 when that was large, I was obviously all over Xbox Live playing with my friends every day.
I've always been a huge gamer, whether it be I have all the PlayStation consoles.
Right.
I have a Wii. I had an Xbox 360 before I sold it because I don't like Xbox. And
what you got again? It's Xbox.
I toast. And
Toast.
I have a PC. And when I got my PC, it changed my life because I was a console gamer. PC gaming is it's something completely else. When I got Skyrim on my PC, all I did was play Skyrim
on my PC as of lately.
What?
Do you have Terraria?
I don't like Terraria that much.
You don't like Terraria?
Okay. I haven't played Terraria enough to have an opinion of it.
Okay.
I bought it a long time ago, and I tried to play it, and I didn't know what to do, and I stopped playing.
Oh.
I was like, this is confusing. I don't know what to do. They're a Minecraft ripoff, and I was like 13, and I quit.
There's so much. Yeah, I mean that's what a lot of people are saying, but it really is so much more than Minecraft. It's a different. Minecraft is a lot more building. This is much more. Terraria's a lot more advanced, kind of. It's
Really?
Yeah, you can do a lot more. Like you can make a lot more things. I mean, you fight bosses.
Yeah.
You don't fight bosses in Minecraft. You don't.
What's the game you think that you've spent the most time on of any game ever?
I know it, bro.
Same. I know what mine is too.
It is on the Nintendo DS. Pokemon Soul Silver. I have 768 hours put into, and yeah. So yeah, that's definitely the game I put the most time into.
Really?
Unless you want to count like being 6 or 7 and having the only games that I had being like GameCube and PS2 games and playing those for like forever. But yeah, no. I would say Pokemon Soul Silver is the game I played the most.
I've never played Pokemon games. I never got to play a Pokemon game ever. I've never played them.
You really?
My mom didn't let me play Pokemon. My mom didn't let me watch Pokemon.
Why? Because evolution? Like the whole Christianity evolution?
Yeah, that's why. I love my mom. Shout out to my mom. But that's why I wasn't able to play Pokemon. It's ridiculous.
Alright, that's a good segue.
I know people that weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob.
That's a good segue. What do you think about people that,
Religion.
What do you think about people that refuse that we don't evolve? Deny evolution.
I don't think that, but that's a misconception, I think. I don't think science and religion have to be separate. I think a lot of religion...
I think religion... comes from science.
Yeah, I think a lot of religion...
Religion is people trying to explain science.
It's anomalies. That's what Connor was saying, and I really think that's what a lot of religion is. Personally, it all comes down to you personally, and what you believe, what the path you want to take is all it comes down to. But you have to have if you don't have any awareness of other people's opinions, then you are lost.
Yeah.
If you don't have...
Not only are you lost, you're an asshole.
Yeah, like I'm not a Muslim, right? Mm-hmm. But if someone was a Muslim, I could see why they're a Muslim.
Exactly.
I am...
It's like nature versus nurture.
Yeah, exactly. You're raised that way. I was raised in a Christian home.
No matter what.
But I'm not Christian. I'm
absolutely. Same. Both my parents identify as Christian, but I'm at a point where I don't know what I would identify myself. I mean, it's not really something I worry about as much, just because I think it's, not necessarily something I should worry about. But I don't know. It's just I like to think of myself as too logical to come to conclusions right away.
Right.
And obviously being young, I used to identify as Christian being young just by the second-handness of my parents. So it's like, I remember being like, like 5. This actually happened. I was looking at these like books of Moses or whatever, right?
Right.
And I'm looking at these books And there's eventually a realization where you kind of know stuff on the TV is fake and like media and art isn't necessarily real. Okay. So I was looking at this book and I'm like looking at this crazy picture of Jesus and I'm talking to my mom. I'm like, that's not real. He's not real. And I remember my mom just being like,
yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I'm not Christian, but at the same time, I don't derail what Christians believe. Yeah, I don't say you're wrong. You're fucking wrong.
Yeah, let me add on to that. That's obviously not what I say now. Jesus is real. Jesus was a person.
For real. He was a person.
He was. There's no denying.
The only question is if he's the Messiah.
A prophet, if he's the prophet or not. Because that's the whole difference between the three religions. They're basically the same thing. Judaism, Muslim, the Islamic religion, and Christianity. They're just they have different prophets, right?
Yeah, they're all interlinked.
One believes in Muhammad, one believes in like Moses, I believe, and then Jesus.
People don't realize that Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all intertwined with each other.
Yeah.
They all worship the same God.
They worship the same religion, they just off-brand.
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you know you're right? How do you know you're right?
That's what I'm saying is, I don't conform to any religion, but
What is religion? Religion, I believe, is...
Religion is trying to take your spirituality and group it with other people's spirituality to create some type of...
I don't know if I believe that.
Utopia where people all believe the same thing. I think that because people are trying to figure out what happened with the universe, right? People are trying to understand why they're here, and they group together and they come to these conclusions together. But what you really need to do is come to the conclusion yourself and figure out what you believe, what a group of people believe.
Yeah.
You never I think that I've talked about this a bunch of fucking times that I think that the Christian Bible is altered. But I also...
Okay, here's something. Okay, all right. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. The Christian Bible was completely altered. I was just talking to my dad about this the other day, where, okay, think about it. What language was the Bible originally written in?
Hebrew.
Right. So and it was written long time ago. Yeah. It's universal. Who would be the person to translate it? Who are the people that have the knowledge to translate these scripts from a language to another? It wasn't normalized that everyone had the convocations. Yes, these were these were higher ups, people that are translating and I'm not gonna make assumptions right away, but like, wouldn't it make sense for someone higher up to change this Bible, like change the script that everyone's following to fit their agenda?
Yeah, that's what I.
Because it's changed so much.
Do you know who the Sumerians
are? Yeah.
I talked about with Andrew. I really think that the Bible is based off these ancient Sumerian texts.
Mm-hmm.
And if you shout out to Zachariah Stitchin, go read his books or look at him up on YouTube. Whether you believe him or not, he's a smart guy. And he's one of the few people in the world that can actually translate these ancient Sumerian texts. And he believes that there was that the Bible and all these religions and everything we think actually comes from the first human civilization. That we have sprouted from this with all these different looks. We have different skin colors. Because
imagine what the first civilization was like.
It was Sumer. Well, to
was
our
it?
knowledge. To our knowledge,
exactly.
It was Sumer.
Because, not to be Eddie Bravo, I'm going to go to conclusions, but, like, initially, I know how much we don't know. I wouldn't go straight to saying the Sumerians are the first,
There's so much knowledge right now. There's so much evidence right now that points towards ancient civilizations that existed that could have been technologically advanced. I can't remember what it's called, but there was this mechanism found in Greece that predates any type of technology that we had during that time period.
Right.
It was basically an analog computer. It was basically, at its roots, an analog computer that they think was developed. Code. They think it was developed before the Roman Empire.
So it being an analog computer, like no electricity.
Basically, they think that it would. And obviously, you want to do your own research here.
As you should.
Basically, they think that it was used to calculate where you're at on the Earth if you're in a boat or a ship. It was used to calculate where you're at the Earth.
People are so smart, man. How do they realize
that we had that shit before ancient Rome? And people think that we're the smartest people ever. People think that we're more technologically advanced than any civilization that's ever existed. But how do we know that?
We don't.
When I was talking to Andrew about this, you can skip forward because I've already talked about this, but if you had a car, okay, and you just let it sit for 50 years, it's done. It's rusted to shit.
Yeah.
If you let it sit for 500 years, it doesn't exist anymore. The thing is biodegraded, it's gone. The house, same thing.
Yeah.
You let a house sit for 500 years, it's collapsed in on itself, and
the
it's
only
done.
only thing that stays around is like stone,
So during,
i.e., the pyramids.
exactly. So during a big apocalyptic event,
They predate the Egyptians.
like anything, time will conquer all.
Oh, of course.
So who are we to say?
There will always be
anything?
time. We are nothing, dude. Like that's something that it's crazy to realize, that we are nothing. Like, to say that we are the higher beings, we're not. The Earth is. Like, the Earth controls all. I mean, we don't have any control. At any moment, a huge asteroid could just fuck us.
Yeah,
That's terrifying. That's terrifying. It's so scary.
It's scary, but it's beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm glad we've moved past nature. Mother Nature, we kind of got rid of her a long time ago, affecting us.
Dude, Mother
There's
Nature,
still
we think we've conquered Mother Nature, but I think
natural disasters are always going to be
I think do you know what the Fermi paradox is? The Fermi paradox is the simple paradox that if the universe is so massive, then and life seems to be so prevalent on Earth, why haven't we seen life anywhere else?
Right.
That is the Fermi paradox. And a big answer, shout out again to John Michael Gautier, a big answer to the Fermi paradox could be that when a civilization starts to become so advanced for its own good, that Mother Nature just takes it out. What if the coronavirus is Mother Nature saying, fuck you guys, you're too advanced, and just taking us out?
We're not too advanced. I don't want to believe we're too advanced.
We're almost achieving AI, bro. We've almost achieved
I think we're far from AI.
I think
could
we're
be
50
lacking.
years from it.
You think we're 50 years of having...
I think it's going to happen in our lifetime.
You think in our lifetime we're going to see people that act and are programmed to respond and react just like humans do?
I think there's going to...
That's going to be a crazy world to live in.
I think that in 50 years, people are going to be...
Well, Cleverbot talks
people are going to be...
I mean, look at...
We're already starting to change our DNA, to change our genetics. We're... People are putting chips inside themselves. We already have cell phones. We already have cell phones, which are basically
really are a part of us.
They almost are basically a part of us. We're almost basically cyborgs, and it's only gonna get.
I can't go without this. This is without this, I can't do my everyday life.
So what I'm saying is
everything.
I think it's gonna get to a point. When I was reading Stephen Hawking's book, A Brief Answer to the Big Questions, which he was writing while he died.
Really?
It's an unfinished book. I have it. It's really good.
Damn, how does it end?
His wife finishes it.
Huh. So it is okay. That's cool. At least it was finished.
Yeah, like the chapter ends.
His wife smart as well? Was Scott
it's just like the last few chapters that are written by her.
Gotcha.
Makes because the book's not that big.
Someone else.
But it has some brilliant insights, and he really does. And I'm not saying Stephen Hawking's right about everything, because he's not.
He has a lot to think.
But he's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's not right about everything. Nobody is. But he's brilliant, and he thinks that within the next 50 years we are going to be pretty much human cyborgs, and the people who can't afford these changes, there's going to be some type of class division between these types of people, where there's going to be higher ups who are biologically advanced, like they are immune to diseases, they're faster, they're stronger, and the normal biological humans are going to slowly become extinct.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, it's going to get to this point where you could talk to Elon Musk about this, or Stephen Hawking, or any of those big scientists. They all warn about AI. AI eventually is going to get to the point where we are going to create something, whether on purpose or by accident, that is smarter than us. Mm-hmm. That is, to us, a god.
It's so crazy, man. And yeah, Detroit Become Human's kind of the opposite. It's trying to... It's a world where AI is basically, their purpose is to serve humans, but
that is like what people. That's
what people want.
That's the ideal look at this.
And this game is basically, it's a multiple. That's what I love about it. It's a very make your own game. It's so.
What do you mean?
Every single question, every single choice you make in the game leads to a new outcome.
Oh, so it's like a butterfly effect game.
Yes. So,
it's not linear.
What decision you make really does matter further in the game.
Right.
Which is amazing. It's something that's just incredible. I mean...
Dude, but a lot of games have gone that way. Ever since...
Oh, I love those games.
Have you ever played the Telltale games?
They put reality into the game.
For sure. Have you ever played the Walking Dead games by Telltale?
Oh, yeah.
They're
amazing.
They were the first ones to really start to pioneer that, what you do affects the story.
Yeah, I really
Because usually
can't think.
you play a game and, like, I'm playing Sleeping Dogs right now.
Did you play all 5 episodes of the first Walking Dead game?
I played the season 1 of The Walking Dead, which was 10 out of 10 fucking amazing.
You're good. Clementine, yeah.
Play it. If you've never played it, fucking play it. It's,
Either though
the
it's 7 years old, play it.
The gameplay's kind of lacking, but the story 100% makes up for it. It's fucking amazing.
Clementine.
Season 2 is not as good.
Episode 1, Season 2, that was it.
Season 2 is not as good, but it's still good. And then the problem with Season 2 was Season 1 was so popular, it was hard to live up to it. And when they were making Season 2, you can tell towards the end, like the last few episodes, like 4 and 5, they were like, what are we doing? And then they made the New Frontier, which is technically Season 3, and I have never played that.
What?
It's Clementine grown up.
Oh, that's cool. Clementine's dope. That's a little question. You played the game, so what decision did you make? I'm assuming you would make the same decision I did at the end of the game, where... I feel lacking that I'm remembering the darker skinned dude name in the game. Lee, yeah. Lee and Clementine. What was your decision when Lee...
I shot him in the face.
Absolutely. I did as well.
I didn't want him to suffer.
Not only that, I was worried for Clementine just even getting a potential bite. One more like as soon as that dude gonna turn to zombie like.
I just know if I was a zombie, if I got bit,
I'd want to be killed.
I'd want to be shot.
It's a parasite. You're being controlled. You're there, but you're being controlled. It's a parasite. If zombies aren't real.
If a zombie outbreak ever happens, Nate, you gotta shoot me in the face. I'm serious.
I will. And then I don't know, I'll do something. I'll maybe take like a lock of your hair or something. Keep you remembered by, I don't know.
Chop my arm.
I can't forget Jacob. I gotta be like, tell my kids about something.
You ever play The Forest, bro? You can literally just cut off people's limbs and fucking eat them or build statues of people's limbs.
The purpose?
Well, The Forest is a scary ass game.
Statue of people's limbs. You can make a statue.
So let me put it with context, okay? So you crash on an island, and it's basically a survival game. You have to survive alone on the island, but
I'm already vibing with that a lot. That sounds great.
You come to figure out. You never heard of The Forest? That's fucking whack. It was a really big game, but. Basically,
sounds familiar.
You come to figure out that there's a whole tribe of people living on the island with you, and they take your son. And you basically the whole quest of the game. You have one quest: survive and find your son. That's the whole quest of the game. But it's
multiple questions. Like it's multiple.
You're in an open world forest. And basically, it's an island,
Why am
so
I
you
not
can't
discovering this game?
Dude,
I would love
I own it. We should play it later. It's brilliant.
Can you let me borrow it? What system do you have?
I have it on PS4, but I don't have it on disc. I have it downloaded. Okay. But we can probably game share it. But anyway.
I don't have PS4 anymore.
Yeah, so... But it's really just like $10. It's a really good game.
Okay, if it's $10, I'm getting it.
And basically, you find that there are people that live there. So imagine, like, there's the whole island, right?
Yeah,
there's the whole island.
There's a tribe that lives on there.
But there's also a whole underground cave system. Endless caves that look like you're going through, like, the tombs in France. Like, just endless caves.
Those are scary.
There's, like, these monsters that they make, like, that are, like, human legs all around them and, like, bones. But basically, they're cannibals, okay? Yeah. So they try to eat you and kill you. But you can kill them and you can chop off their limbs and you can become a cannibal and eat their fucking limbs and make their body parts into statues.
I fuck with that.
Yeah, I like to make a boat raft, and then I just kind of, like, go around the map, and then I run in whenever I want, and I just kind of, like, steal the resources real fast, and then run back out to my raft and go back around. But it's so scary.
That's basically the Vikings in essence.
You'll be making...
Seriously.
I'm a Viking in that game.
Seriously. That's all they did. They didn't even take land. They just were like, boat, show up, I'm going to take all your shit and pillage you, and then run back and take all the shit I can. That was the Viking culture.
Bro, I love how white people came from fucking Vikings,
We're
going around
evil.
killing everybody
evil,
and
dude.
pillaging, and now we're like, mayonnaise is spicy.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what when I was talking about earlier in the podcast, when I say I'm glad to live in the thing in the time period I do, think about it. People were killing each other with swords and shit not that long ago. People were dying from it being too hot outside or being too cold outside because air conditioning is only a new revolution in the past like 200 years.
Not even like 100.
Like 100. Yeah, I only said 200 because I could be wrong. I feel like it's like 120 or something.
I feel like it's not even 100 that we've had AC.
Look it up, man. How long have we had air conditioning for?
What were you saying though?
I'm just very glad to live in the time period I do because I don't have to face things like how I told you that we've kind of gotten rid of Mother Nature, even though we haven't completely because there's still natural disasters and everything like that. We don't have to worry about going outside and things fucking killing us. We don't have to go.
Some people do.
In different parts of the world. I'm talking
AC was invented in 1902. The first electrical air conditioning...
Hey, I was right. 120 years. Basically.
Oh, shit, yeah. The first electrical air conditioning was invented by Willis Haliphand Carrier in the year 1902. He was also known as the father
How did people live in the South?
Modern air conditioning.
How did people live in the South?
Like, or in like South America, bro.
Bro,
oh
dude,
my God, the mosquitoes.
I'm so privileged. Like, I mean, after a long winter, I go outside when it's sunny out, and I'm like, oh, my eyes, my precious eyes. People live with that. Like, people just had to like, they're like, oh, I can't see anything. My eyes hurt. Time to go hunt and kill for my food.
I know this is kind of off topic, but that's my whole point of everyone. If you live, depending on where you live, you're different from someone depending on where they live. Mm-hmm. And for there to be one government that just controls like the southern people in Texas from the people in New York, the same exact like the school system standardizes them the same exact way. I'm like, the people who live in Texas who have to deal with Texas shit aren't going to understand the people who have to live in New York and deal with New York shit. Yeah. And those people aren't going to...
I think our government should be state by state.
Exactly.
I don't think someone in fucking goddamn Texas should be telling someone in New York what to do.
Exactly.
Or, vice versa.
I think that it should be based around... And even if we move to local politics being the more norm, that would be good for everyone.
We might be screwed, though, because we got JB Pritzker.
Oh, he's terrible. But anyway, we have... People, it's a lot more easy to focus on what's around you, the local, what's drawing what's around you, the towns you're in right now, more than let's focus on California right now, even though we live in Illinois.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh my God, we really do. Though I think, absolutely, we should be like very noticeable and aware of things that are happening not in our world, because I mean there's. It's sad that it's just a crazy thing to think about how truly privileged we are.
Oh,
and
crazy.
Like, it's everyone's like, you're white privilege, blah blah blah, but we really do. Really do.
I think if you live in the United States, you're automatically privileged. People who live, we complain about not having the newest iPhone, but people across the world don't even have running water.
Yeah, they don't even, not only running water, they don't have fucking clean water.
Well, people in America don't have clean water. You got Flint, Michigan, that...
I was more or less talking about diseases, but yeah. Thankfully, we still have, consumerism to supply Flint, bottled water.
There's a study that suggests that Rockford water, the place we live, can lead to cancer.
Really?
Good
thing I don't drink tap water.
I don't drink tap water either.
I use it to brush my teeth because I know they put fluoride in the water. That's good for your teeth.
Really? They put fluoride in it?
Well, yeah. Did you not know that? Did you not know that they put fluoride?
Tap water is good for showering and brushing your teeth.
That's our water, and fluoride is what's used to make your teeth white. That's what they put. I know that. And it's what Alex Jones is super against. He's like, anti-fluoride. I have some Alex Jones toothpaste.
Alex Jones is...
I'm not a fan of Alex Jones, but I do have some apparel of Alex Jones.
I'm not a fan of Alex Jones, but...
He's a funny dude.
He's fucking hilarious.
He said he's a performer. I mean, when shit went down to business, he was like, dude, this is an act. This is an act, okay.
Well, it becomes... I think Alex Jones is right about a lot of stuff.
He is.
And a lot of the stuff he says is actually pretty intelligent. But
I don't think he's stupid.
He's definitely not stupid.
There's a reason he's famous and he has that many people following him.
The problem with Alex Jones is the same problem with Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
They're so...
He's too extreme.
They're so out there, and the way they present themselves,
the way
the way they present themselves turns people off to them.
Absolutely, and I think they would have so much more of a following if they were to just, either though, like the part of me wants to be like, fuck you, I'm not gonna conform.
I think Alex Jones is better than Trump.
Yeah. That goes without saying. I would. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we have the worst election ever coming up. Like
Joe Biden.
Oh God.
Joe
How
Biden.
These guys? I
versus
thought it
Trump
couldn't get
again.
worse than 2016.
You're not gonna vote for Joe Biden. Well, even though we can't.
I can vote.
Well,
this election.
When's this election?
November.
Okay, then yes, I can as well.
I'm not gonna vote, and if I do vote, I'm voting Libertarian. I'm not voting Trump or Biden. They're both old ass people that have no idea what's going on right now. I don't even know if I want to vote,
man. I don't even know. I know I should, but a part of me is just like.
Biden is literally a creepy little fucking.
I'll vote in my local.
There's no idea what's going on.
I'll vote out JB Pritzker. I'd rather vote in my local. I think it's much more important to be active in your local.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
What's it called?
Government, your local politics.
Local politics and like the nominations, like deciding.
People don't realize how important that is.
They don't.
They don't realize how important
it really is. It's not only because it varies city to city. You know, McChesney, like where we live, McChesney Park has the city council. Versus Loves Park has like the city hall.
I live in Loves Park.
Yeah, I live in McChesney.
We're all basically Rockford.
Yeah, it's basically they're just it's a suburb of Chicago, basically.
Yeah, for everyone that's watching this that doesn't know.
Northern Illinois.
Yeah. Actually, I gotta take a piss.
So do I.
We're gonna take another break. We'll be back. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll be back.
Piss break. Know if you know.
I try not to smoke a lot of carts, bro.
Carts are not good for you. I mean, it depends.
Cigarettes are bad for you, then carts are definitely fucking bad for you.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Smoking anything is not good for you.
Yeah, but I smoke weed every day.
And yeah, inhaling smoke is just not good for you.
Hot smoke in your lungs is just not good.
Not only anything other than like oxygen and things that are like naturally present in the air from nature are not meant to go in your lungs.
Yeah, but I feel like at some point in time, I just need a blunt.
No, yeah. It's not to say that, smoking a blunt here and there is going to kill you, because it won't. It won't hurt you, but excessive definitely does.
Like I was talking with Tyler, I'm just really glad that they're finally legalizing weed. I'm glad like you said earlier, when you're glad you're born in this generation. The only reason I am is to see weed legalization.
I mean, that's cool.
People getting...
Yeah, I definitely agree. The whole stigma from weed being not legal was just because some dude in like the higher ups at the time didn't like hemp, because hemp was a product that could be made into everything.
Yeah.
So he was just like, fuck this. Plastic industry needs to keep up.
Yeah, and they could literally...
And put it as a Schedule 1.
Hemp could make as a biodegradable plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we still use plastic. It's fucking mind-numbingly dumb.
And it's so rapid, so easily grown.
It's so...
It's found in the wild naturally still all the time for clear reasons.
Here's the thing. I think that from the weed movement being legal, I think we should start pushing for psilocybin to be legal.
It's already legal in Colorado.
New York, what is?
Psilocybin.
Really? I didn't know.
You didn't know about Colorado's. I believe it's one of those super leftist states. I think it's Colorado, but yes, they have legalized psilocybin.
Yeah, I'm pulled up here. New York lawmaker files bill to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms. That's awesome. Psychedelic mushrooms changed my life. Taking shrooms changed my whole perception on my life. Yeah, they really changed my life for the better, and the fact that they're illegal, people are being put into jail.
Let's further talk about that, man. Because that's super interesting. Because I mean, it really is when you think about it, opening up more of your mind. So I'm just curious. Either since I haven't had my own experience, what did you experience? What did you gain from that?
I've taken mushrooms about 5 times.
Yeah.
I don't take them a lot.
You shouldn't.
Because when I do take them, I have really deep moments with myself.
You have to recover afterwards.
It's like anything. You do it too much, you're gonna abuse it. It's
absolutely.
Not good. And
too much of anything in excess is
so
bad.
Anyway, I've taken mushrooms a couple times, and I can 100% say, if you aren't ready. So what shrooms do is they take anything you've been pushing into the back of your mind. Anything you've been trying to avoid.
Weed as well. Weed is
right out in front of you.
Most people don't realize THC is a psychedelic.
It's like ecstasy. It's a very
in lots of amounts. It can definitely you can hallucinate.
Exactly. It's
like That's
ecstasy.
Why there's stories of people overdosing on edibles and just actually hallucinating because it's a psychedelic.
But if you're not ready to confront the things you've been pushing away, then don't take mushrooms.
Don't take any drug.
Really, the thing is with mushrooms is you open up parts of your brain where if you're taking mushrooms and you're not thinking about your life, then you're not doing it right. That's the thing is you can enjoy the effects of the visuals and you can enjoy the state you feel. Really, the first time you do that, that's a big, the first time you ever trip, you're like, wow, this is crazy, I'm tripping. But as you trip more and more, you become used to the visuals. It's a tool. It's a tool to get a deep look into your own psyche that you can't get when you're sober. And people don't realize that, and they abuse it, and they don't use it right, and that's why it's illegal.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, there's also a lot of other reasons, like I just mentioned, especially part of the fact that I really do believe marijuana has partially to do with systematic racism. Like,
What do you mean?
Well, where is marijuana brought from?
Brought from?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, marijuana was found in Mexico, brought to the U.S. from Mexico. So, and a big part of that not only had to do with the fact that he didn't want it to be industrialized and screw over the thing that he had going on.
Is that why Europeans have shitty weed?
I guess so. I guess maybe. I mean, who knows? Maybe we're just smarter over here. We know what's good for the plant.
It's like notoriously known that Europeans have shitty weed.
Not only Europeans,
except in Amsterdam.
But like
weed is super legal in Amsterdam. Like you can go to a bar and smoke weed.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's coffee shops. Like it's as a coffee shop as normal. I mean, you go to New Amsterdam and you go to a coffee shop, you're gonna get you can buy a couple grams of hash. I mean, like
you can buy hash at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
In Amsterdam, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I knew you could smoke. I didn't know you could buy.
You can well, it's legal. So if you couldn't smoke it, and you know what I mean, it's like you can buy it. It's legal. Legalization is legal. So it's legal to sell it. It's legal to smoke it. It's legal all that. So you can smoke it in these coffee shops. You can buy them in these coffee shops, which is absolutely how it should be.
Really, the distinction between illegal and legal should be if something is hurting someone and infringing on their rights, then it should be illegal. But I don't think smoking a blunt in your house and ordering a pizza is hurting anybody.
Yeah,
so I mean, it shouldn't be illegal.
It's all different aspects.
Do you think, and I'm on the fence on this, that all drugs should be illegal?
I think
that drugs.
I think the opposite. I think the opposite should exist almost.
What do you mean?
Like, I think people should decide to choose what they want to do. If they want to ruin their life and be addicted to heroin, I think that's almost like.
But should they?
I don't think they should. I don't think they should go to jail for it.
Jail is meant for people who.
Does it really rehabilitate them? No. Does it make them not commit that crime anymore after they're out? No. That's proven. Jail does not really do much when it comes to stopping crime. It's really just comes down to a penalty for the crime that we caught you doing.
Right.
So it's
penalty. It's
a penalty.
It's like getting a red card in 5th grade kindergarten.
Exactly. Class. Like, you've been talking too much, Jimmy. You are already on a yellow. I'm gonna have to flip you to red. It's the end of the world, man. But not really. For
once you're already
they're adults.
And the thing is, it's a sinking hole. Because when you're already, let's say,
the prison
metaphorically,
system,
you're already on red or yellow.
Yep.
Yeah. In terms of
your fact, you're in prison.
What's there left to do besides keep going down that path? You can't
exactly.
get a job.
That's all you know.
You can't get a job.
Absolutely.
You can't do anything. So it's a hole that we have a third of our country that's just stuck in. It's just stuck in this hole.
A lot of our country is so sad. I mean, we really just got to give, even though there's fucked up people, we got to realize that the whole back thing, the nature versus nurture, that people are raised a certain way, and they're raised that way to believe that thing. But once you give them a little bit of freedom and choice of action, they're gonna for the most part, they're gonna realize that what they're doing is wrong. I like to believe that there is inherent good in people. I believe it. I believe it to the fullest extent. I mean, there's been.
That's one of the biggest.
There's been tests like with infants.
With philosophical meanings. That's the biggest. One of the biggest questions.
Here's the thing:
are humans inherently good, or are they inherently greedy and bad?
I think they're inherently good. I know they're inherently good because what is bad? What is bad? Pain. We suffer bad. Everyone suffers bad, and bad. What is meaning of bad? Not good, not enjoyable.
Right.
It's not something that you necessarily want to experience. So for you as a person, I don't believe that a person is born and wants bad on a person. I don't think a person is, you know what I mean, is born and just initially wants bad. I think it's the opposite.
No way.
Because everyone wants what they have for themselves for others. That's what I like to believe, is that the way you want to be treated is the way...
Kids, okay? When I was a kid, had no idea what racism was.
Absolutely.
I had no idea what any of this was.
Same.
I did not...
I had several different races of friends.
I didn't even acknowledge it. Like,
right,
I
exactly.
literally didn't even know the difference between
I didn't
me
know
and
racism was until I was a teenager.
Yeah, and the thing is you're brought up through the school system that talks nothing but racism, and you're brought up through social media that talks nothing but racism, and you're brought up, this is all the news, which is terrible, everything is bad, everything is racist, everything is terrible, and you're brought up through this, and it makes you with this false mindset that people hate you.
Yeah.
But they don't. They don't. Obviously, some people do because they're fucking retarded.
Because they have their own problems. But why would a person inherently want to hate you for nothing?
It's taught. It's taught.
It's taught. It's a taught thing.
I have known people who, through their lives, were taught racism. Whose parents were racist, but they But they realized that that's not the way to go. That they grew out of it, and it becomes what you said earlier: nature versus nurture. You're grown up through this. If your parents are racist, you're much more likely to be racist. But it's not something you were born with. It's something you learned.
I think that's something that we need to have a bit more lenience with as a whole, like with people. And I think it sounds, I mean, don't get me wrong here, but a lot of the problems that we talk about is definitely like first world problems. Problems that only pertain to the U.S.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah.
For the most part. I mean, I wouldn't just say to the U.S. I would say, like, first world countries.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
I don't know, though. I don't think second or third world countries are facing the ideas of, like, white people being oppressed.
But the problem you have
with
first
different
world
things
or second world, the problem you have with those countries is they're facing the problem of immediate starvation.
That's what I'm saying.
Or immediately getting gassed by their own government.
That's what I'm saying.
They aren't even worried about the things we're worried about.
I know. That's what I'm kind of getting to, is that the fact that we're even worried about this, thinking about it more and more, is kind of a privilege, because the fact that we're even able to consistently stay alive to the point that we're able to talk about shit socially and to, about our actual minds and what is right and what is wrong is insane. Because if you look at nature's always been right and wrong, mostly wrong. You see someone with food, you kill them, and you have the food to live now. That's kind of what life has been. You kill and you kill to survive. That is what life is. And we're still kind of at that point with meat eating. I don't know how that is something we can bring up too.
We've evolved from meat eating though.
Yes. I think we're at a point where I almost believe that we don't need meat farms.
We definitely
don't. We definitely don't. It's
definitely do, Nate.
You think we do?
Yeah, man.
You don't think we can survive off of the...
Hell no. Imagine if everyone in the earth was like, fuck meat, I'm not eating any meat. How the fuck are people... There's not enough chicken eggs to feed everyone in the earth only eggs.
But there's enough plantation. And if we were to remove the animal farms and actually have plantations...
But plantation takes a long time.
Here's the thing. I eat meat. This is all
This is the problem with meat. If you're a farmer, you'd understand this. Your harvest completely depends on the climate. The things that you grow, you have almost no control over. You can raise them and slowly make them better.
But if we were to industrialize plants like we did meat, we would have grow rooms instead of huge animal slaughter factories. And I don't know. I eat meat, man. I eat meat. I love pig. I love bacon. All that shit. But at the same time, a part of me, I can't help but deny that we're fucking being cruel to living things that feel pain.
Don't get me wrong. We are very...
It's like toast, man.
The way we're farming
toast is the same sentience as a pig.
I agree. the
if
way
not,
we're
a pig
farming
has
animals
more.
is wrong.
So fucked.
The way we treat them. But however, that is.
I think you should have your own.
There
farm.
are good farms.
Have your own farm. When I get older, I'm honestly gonna raise my own animals and eat them. If not, I think hunting is a good thing because it's not like they went through a whole life of suffrage and torture. Trophy hunting is fucked. I don't even call that hunting. That's not hunting. Hunting is the sole purpose of killing an animal so you can survive, so you can benefit from it.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if you look at the Native Americans, something they've always done and something they've always respected is that they acknowledge that. I mean, I think the Native Americans, we can learn a lot from them, either though a lot of their, spiritual whatever, you want to call them bullshit, but at the same time, they respected the animal that they killed. They acknowledged that they're life forms like us that feel pain and feel suffrage and go through things and have these thoughts and have these feelings, and we're just ending it. Because that is something so special. Just to say, even with thinking about it with a bug, even though I know a bug feels pain anatomically different than a human, it's not a mammal, it doesn't feel pain their pain sensors are more
they don't have veins.
Yeah, their pain sensors are more like, oh shit, you're in trouble, you won't survive if you do this, but they don't feel hurt. They don't feel like a pinch, or I could be wrong, but this is just based off of science of what I've read. So it's just fucked, man. Pigs are so smart. Pigs are proven they're smart as a 3-year-old child.
Pigs are cruel, bro. You get a pig and you bring out in the wild.
Well, yeah, I know they're not good for the wild.
They'll eat the shit.
But
They'll eat you.
Why should we farm them then? Why should we farm? Well, bacon, sure, but we're at a point in society where we don't need bacon to survive.
I think that we need as much food as we can get to survive.
Bacon is not something that we need to survive.
It's not something we need to survive, but at the same time,
I agree. There's preference because I'm still gonna. I love bacon.
I don't think that.
I'm still gonna
I don't
eat
think
that.
7 billion people would be able to live vegetarian. I don't see it. I just don't see it.
I see it if we actually took the effort to do so. Because how did we do it with meat? As
a human species, we've grown eating meat. We've evolved.
We are naturally omnivores.
So we're literally defying our national from birth.
Okay, but do you know why we're omnivores? Because we're what's it called? We take what we can, man. We took what we can to survive. We adapted to eat meat because we had to survive.
I think we're just gonna start 3D printing food.
If that happens, I think that's fucking great.
I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna start able to just somehow 3D print this generic food that you can eat, and it might have some artificial flavor to it. Yeah, it'll be great for being able to feed the hungry, but it's
well, look about Soylent. You know about Soylent, that whole drink that you don't need food, you drink the drink.
Yeah. There was a guy I watched on YouTube that talked about he doesn't eat at all. He just drinks these drinks.
Well, you can live off them, but it's not ideal.
It's hard. It's not. You're not. He even said himself, it's hard for him to get into shape, and it's hard for him to stay
because it's
not tired.
It's biologically not what you're used to. But I mean, I'm all for what is biologically right. But at the same time, if we can stop, I think we're so advanced as a people that we need to realize, here's something that I think about kind of semi-often, is who are we to say that a pig's life or a cow's life is not as important as a dog or a cat? Because it absolutely isn't. Because if you look at a pig is about as smart as a 3-year-old child. A cat is not as smart as a 3-year-old child.
No, I guess not. No.
It is not.
No, it's not.
Pigs can do a bunch of shit that cats cannot. So it's just
like
the fact, I don't know the full extent, but just different things understanding how mechanism works and just being much more compassionate. I mean,
pigs are cruel though, man.
They're cruel to the environment.
No, they should not. If you get a pig and you throw it into the wild, it'll come back to your house and eat you, hands down, dude. It's really weird. Pigs, if you put them out in the wild
pigs.
No, I'm talking about if you just take a pig. Say you were a
seriously,
farmer.
Any old.
Say you were a farmer, okay?
Okay.
And you
the basic ass pig.
And a pig ran away.
Right.
Into the wild, and it would come back 2 weeks later, it would have horns, it'd be beefier, and it would kill you and eat you. Seriously. Like,
no,
pigs,
you're right.
they hoard together in packs like wolves. Like,
they're like boars. Like, I think boars are different than pigs. Boars are more wild.
Yeah, but you can let a pig go out of your pen and it'll become that. It'll grow to that, which is really weird.
That goes to show how brutal fucking nature is. Yeah. I think we've definitely gone past that. We're not at a point where we're outside killing each other for shit and coming back to gain shit.
We are though. We're
different. We're different, man.
Do that to each other with our
different
militaries.
Countries. Okay, let me say that, but I think as a U.S. civilization, we're past that, man. I don't want to say we're better than anyone, but it's just proven that things are advancing at different times. I mean, like I said, I'm sure monkeys that are discovering the Stone Age some monkeys aren't. There's definitely monkeys that are behind in certain islands and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's just, what can you do?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, other than just try and be open as minded as possible.
That's all you can do. Literally, all you can do in your whole life.
And not try and be a dickhead, man. Just not try and be a dick and make people feel bad.
But that's like, I can be a dick sometimes. I know I can. I know I can be unpleasant to people sometimes.
But we need to kind of try.
Everyone can though. Everyone knows. Everyone can be unpleasant.
That's where my point is going. That as a whole, people are dicks, and we need to kind of realize that we gain a lot more from not being dicks to each other.
Yeah.
So much more. I mean, I just think about it now. If we didn't have so much negative social, aspects, I feel like we would be even so much farther as a people than we are now. Because what's holding us back right now is war and us fighting each other.
So are you for globalism then?
Is that what globalism is?
Globalism is the theory of one world government.
I'm not saying one world government.
One world civilization. One world, everybody's connected by one ruling class of government. That
wouldn't work. But in the idealism of it, it sounds nice. It sounds nice if we were to live on an Earth where we all have the same idealisms, but that doesn't work.
That's the destroyer of culture. If you have globalism, culture doesn't exist.
I don't believe that because I think morals and ethics is not culture necessarily.
What do you mean?
I think morals and ethics is knowing that something that's alive should stay alive, and I don't think that pertains to culture. I think culture has to pertain with a lot how
but what I'm
you live
saying
your
is
life.
If everyone in the whole world spoke one language, then over time,
that's
those
not
cultures
what I
and
want.
those languages would be destroyed.
I guess if that's what globalism is, then I don't want that. But I do like the idea of us having all similar morals where we can live without honestly fighting each other and having
It's just
problems
really
with
hard
each other.
because
But obviously that's not going to happen. If it is, it's going to take a long time.
Like what we were saying earlier about states having rights because people in Maine can't judge people that live in Vermont or people that live in New Hampshire or people that live in Montana. But imagine the whole world.
Right. That wouldn't just work. It wouldn't work.
The United States are living the same morals of people that live in India. It's really hard to match that up. It's really, and I think the way we have it now,
I guess you're right. We should just we should accept differences, but at the same time, when differences come into factor and actually affect us for the overall well-being, then we should really just try and fix that as a whole. This is all talk. I mean, it's not
a podcast.
It's not like we're gonna follow up and try and. What the fuck did you just do?
I broke the podcast, Nate.
Did you?
No.
Are we still running?
Yeah, it's
okay. You dropped the audio recorder. It's all right.
No, it's not all right.
Happens, Jacob. Like I was just saying, we gotta understand the faults that we have as human beings, man.
Connor's gonna be mad at me, man.
Hey, dude, Connor said
shout out to Connor.
Yeah, shout out to Connor. He said he loved me in the last podcast and he really wants to talk to me. I'm very, very eager to talk to him as well.
That'd be a great podcast, you and Connor.
You're kind of silly if you don't make that happen, Jacob. But
if I don't make that happen, I'm silly.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you knew it, but you know how Surreal Syndrome was. For those that are listening,
I was in Surreal Syndrome.
Yeah. You know, for those that aren't listening to the podcast, me and Jacob Heikkinen used to be in a nice little garage rock band called Surreal Syndrome together. Look us up on Facebook. the old band.
Or don't. It doesn't matter.
Or don't. You know, I suggest don't. But yeah, but something we would do is that you know how we would all hang out and it'd be like a huge group of people, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
For one of those groups that it's so weird. It was like an economy we had going on. But one of those groups going on was me and Connor talking in your room about like not just psychedelics, but just like about the mind and shit.
I remember one time you and Connor were just talking alone at Rocket School, and I walked up, and you guys were like, "What's up, Jake?" And I just walked up to you guys, and we ended up having this 3-way conversation, and that was just crazy.
We would have that right now. I was thinking.
That's
in my
why
mind
I've
earlier.
always wanted to start a podcast, though. The
Absolutely.
conversations we have, other people should be able to listen to.
Well, yeah, these aren't conversations that you hear every day. Not everyone is willing to talk about these topics with anyone.
And not everyone. See,
not that we're noble
me
for
and
doing
Nate don't
it.
agree on everything.
We don't.
But that's fucking more than okay because
I mean, I still love Jacob.
Yeah,
Jacob's
we have
my
these
fucking
conversations
best bro.
that are different points of view and when you hear different points of view and you can actually put your
understand where it's coming from.
Put your opinion into the words, and talk about them with people. That's it's healing.
Man.
It's all these different positive things that people should go after, but it's hard for a lot of people that aren't able to have these conversations. They go for podcasts.
Exactly.
That's why podcasts are starting to become a big thing, is because people don't want to
definitely saturated.
People don't want to go to the news for shit. They don't want to go. People have no idea what to talk about. They just want to hear people have conversation.
Yeah.
They want to have people. They want to hear different sides of things. They want to hear different.
Like it's real. It's real. It's not scripted. It's not.
I am wrong about so much, and so
absolutely.
is Nate.
So I mean, I've even shown it in the podcast with the whole exotic thing.
If I can be wrong on something, right, and Nate can be right, then I've learned from something, and vice versa. And there's nothing wrong with being wrong sometimes. There's nothing wrong with being wrong and someone telling you something and learning from it. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it's a good thing to do something like do that and just not only that, but put yourself in that person's shoes and understand where they're coming from because humans aren't that simple. It really is a nature brought up thing. How do you think people like Kim Jong-un come to exist? They come from family of dictators, wherever that may be started, and they just know to rule. I mean, it's just the same concept. We just know to do this.
Yeah, I actually think I'm going to stop it here. It's been like, what, 2.5 hours
Yeah, I got
now.
to piss too, man.
Yeah. This was a great podcast.
Yeah, it was a good one. Especially.
It was a good podcast. If you like the podcast, click like. Helps a lot. Click subscribe. Helps even more. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Check out Verbal Static.
At Verbal Static.
At Verbal Static. I'll leave a link in the description. They're a great fucking band. Check them out. Yeah, that's all. This is In the Basement, episode 5. We had a long fucking episode 5 special. Nate Jackson will definitely be fucking on again.
Good stuff.
Next week, check out the next podcast. Yeah, and I'm Jacob Haken, and I'm fucking out.
Bye-bye.